Chapter 3579. An earth-shattering war broke out in the demonic fire domain. Many sect disciples were killed, and even some elders were killed by the young Marquis and his men. Their appearance caused a huge uproar. When the news spread from the demonic fire domain, the entire Godfall battlefield was in an uproar. All the major sects were in danger and called back their disciples. Many of the top experts of the sect gathered together to discuss countermeasures. According to the information, the group of 9 people came from an unfamiliar region. They were young and vigorous, and their strength was strong. The leader of the group was the young Marquis, whose cultivation had reached the 8th level saint. However, his combat strength could even kill a 9th level saint. His 8 servants were all 9th level saints, but they could fight against super experts who were half a step away from becoming invincible saints. For a time, a storm was brewing. Many people were terrified, thinking that the end of the world had come. The news quickly spread to the heaven-defying alliance, and then to the myriad pathworld. When the disciples of the Tao Palace heard about it, they were furious. More than half of the fire marrow load belonged to the heaven-defying alliance. However, these people openly attacked the fire marrow load and killed the disciples of the major sect. This was not only a matter of the heaven-defying alliance, but also a matter of all the sects in the Godfall battlefield. That day, the elders of the Tao Palace said that whoever dared to break the balance of the Godfall battlefield and kill the disciples of the major sect for no reason, would be killed. Humph! Provoking the heaven-defying alliance is unforgivable. The disciples of the heaven-defying alliance will not die in vain. Some of the powerful saints of the heaven-defying alliance spoke out. Their attitude was tough, and they sent troops to the demonic fire domain to kill the young Marquis and his men. In addition, 9 Saint Palace, Purple Robe sect, and other top sects also expressed their stance and stood on the side of the heaven-defying alliance. They all sent their elders to the fire marrow load. How stupid! How dare they attack the fire marrow load? Do they want to die? Where did these 9 people come from? Why are they so strong? Most people were mocking the young Marquis and his men. Of course, a small number of them were thinking about what they were doing. Why did they dare to attack when they knew the strength of the heaven-defying alliance? Was it because he was young and impetuous, or did he have some tricks up his sleeve? It was even to the extent that some people suspected that it was extremely likely that this was a scheme, and the mastermind behind the scenes might be the evil powerhouse that caused the Battle of Godfall all those years ago. Thinking of this, everyone was shocked. The magic Skyfire domain had experienced an intense battle. The various sects had suffered heavy casualties. Even some of the elders were no match for them and had fled. Presently, the Devil Skyfire region had become the junior Marquis's territory. Inside the fire essence vein, the young Marquis had carefully inspected it. He had only found a small amount of fire essence crystals and had not found the legendary mother or what happened. The young Marquis frowned. He came from the chaos battlefield, and the treasure in his hand clearly sensed the existence of the mother lode. Why did it disappear? Could it be that it was taken away by someone? Soon, the young Marquis dispelled this idea. What ability did these stupid martial artists from the land of sinners have to take away the source lode? The mother ore was born from the origin of heaven and earth. It contains magical power. Even an invincible saint might not be able to take it away. Beside him, a servant said, "Perhaps, there is an old monster hidden in the battlefield of Godfall. Don't forget, this is the place where the gods fell. It is very likely that there is an inheritance left behind by an ancient almighty, or even the strongest blood and so on. No matter what, let's overturn this place first." I don't believe that anyone would dare to lay their eyes on the source lode that the young Marquis has set his eyes on. Not long after, the young Marquis in the magic Skyfire region called out to all the cultivators across the air. "Quickly return the source lode. Otherwise, your entire clan will be slaughtered." A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. To ordinary martial artists, they had no idea what the source lode was. But to the top powerhouses, it was simply shocking to the extreme. "Source lode! Fire source lode!" they exclaimed. There was actually a source lode in the fire essence vein. This was simply shocking news. I see. No wonder they appeared out of thin air. It was actually for the source load. Heavens, I can't believe I can wait until the source load is born in my lifetime. If I can get the source load, I might be able to stabilize the Supremes. Some of the top powerhouses began to waver. They tried to find out more about the source load. But up until now, all the news about the source load had come from the fire essence vein. If anyone can provide clues about the source load, they can stay by the young Marquis side and serve him. If anyone can find the source load and bring it to the young Marquis, they will be given an Origin Saint weapon and a top-secret technique. The servant of the young Marquis shouted across the air. It was as if he was treating everyone in the God's Fall battlefield as slaves. This is too much. Many veteran powerhouses were angry. They were already on their way to the magic Skyfire region to kill these arrogant people. Myriad Path World, Doctrine Palace. When the top inheritance appeared, many powerhouses entered the Chaos battlefield crazily. Then the Chaos battlefield was sealed and disappeared into the void. After that, this so-called young Marquis appeared. Fang Chen pondered. All of this seemed to be man-made. However, if one wanted to control the Chaos battlefield, how powerful would that require? If one had such power, wouldn't they be able to easily flatten the top powerhouses in the God's Fall battlefield? Why would they waste their energy like this? With his mind full of doubts, Fang Chen analyzed seriously. Soon, he figured it out. The sealing of the Chaos battlefield was most likely man-made. It could even be the super powerhouse behind the young Marquis. Fang Chen guessed that there were super powerhouses who had survived from the ancient times in the Chaos battlefield. The young Marquis was a descendant of one of them. Those powerhouses were limited by the uniqueness of the Chaos battlefield and could not come out. Therefore, this scene happened. Trap all the top powerhouses in the God's Fall battlefield and then find the source load? Fang Chen said in a deep voice. According to the news, the young Marquis, who was the leader, had unparalleled potential. He was even stronger than the disciples of the Doctrine Palace. As an 8th-level saint, he could easily defeat a peak 9th-level saint. If the invincible saints did not come out, he could almost sweep the entire God's Fall battlefield. Fang Chen also had 8 powerful servants with him. Fang Chen felt immense pressure. At the same time, he also felt darkness approaching. A storm was about to arrive. Fang Chen had already refined the source load mentioned by the young Marquis. However, what surprised Fang Chen was that if the young Marquis came from the Chaos battlefield, then how did he know about the fire source load? Fang Chen thought of the records in the ancient books. In ancient times, there were powerful powerhouses who had the ability to divine the future and predict good or bad luck. Fang Chen shook his head and shook off the thoughts in his mind. The young Marquis and the others were dealt with by the elders of the top powerhouses. What he needed to do now was to fight with Xu Yang and then work hard to improve his strength. I hope they don't find me, otherwise. Chapter 3580. Recently, the God's Fall battlefield had not been peaceful. The top giants had entered the Chaos battlefield and their fates were unknown. There were almost no invincible saints in the vast God's Fall battlefield. The appearance of the young Marquis and his group had thrown the entire God's Fall battlefield into chaos. They were extremely powerful and swift. They were extremely domineering. They had occupied the fire marrow lode and were arrogant in the entire God's Fall battlefield. For a time, all the cultivators were in danger and felt that the end of the world was coming. Led by the heaven-defying alliance, many elders of the top forces went to the demon Skyfire region to suppress the young Marquis and his group. However, the fire source load mentioned by the young Marquis had stirred up waves in everyone's hearts. The elders who went to the demon Skyfire region were all thinking whether the young Marquis was telling the truth. If the source load really existed, it would be incredible. Great Elder, does the source load really exist? The experts of the heaven-defying alliance had rushed through the night and already saw the outline of the demon Skyfire region. An elder asked softly. The Great Elder was in a white robe and his eyes were deep. The source load exists in the ancient records. Even in the ancient times, it was a rare item. Even a half-step chaotic supremacy would be tempted. Pausing for a moment, the Grand Elder continued, I believe that there's an 80% to 90% chance that it's true. The junior Marquis and his group should have come from the mysterious primal chaos battlefield. It's highly possible that they are the descendants of ancient experts. After saying that, the Great Elder's face was firm. No matter what, the source load belongs to the God's Fall battlefield. No one is allowed to touch it. The source load is of great importance and will definitely attract many people. You must be careful when you go to the Demon Skyfire region. Hearing the Great Elder's words, the Elder was stunned and then understood. The real danger did not come from the young Marquis and his group but from the internal strife. In the following period of time, war broke out in the Demon Skyfire region. Some said that the top forces had joined forces to fight against the young Marquis and his group. Some said that the cultivators had internal strife and the root of all this was the source load. They fought in front of the fire marrow load just to get the legendary source load. For a time, the atmosphere in the God's Fall battlefield was tense. Countless warriors were watching. At this moment, the Dao Palace in the myriad Dao world was still peaceful. However, something interesting had happened. Fang Chen fought Xu Yang. This was a battle between a new disciple and a veteran disciple. Xu Yang's reputation had long been illustrious. His cultivation had reached the peak of rank 8 and was only a step away from rank 9. Moreover, he had killed a 9th-level sage before. As for Fang Chen, in everyone's eyes, he was considered a rising star. Even though he was a 3rd-level holy king in the magic Skyfire domain and had killed the bull demon and severely injured Tang Yi, the difference in their levels was too great. Many disciples did not think highly of him. This day had finally arrived. Fatty Xiekue and Wang Daoyun arrived at Fang Chen's residence early in the morning. "How is it? Are you confident?" After experiencing so many things, Wang Daoyun had already realized Fang Chen's monstrous potential. He had even begun to view Fang Chen as a 7th-order saint. "Junior brother Fang, you have great potential. It's just that you've only been cultivating for a short period of time. There's no need for you to fight over personal feelings," Xiekue said with a simple and honest smile. "Thank you for your concern, senior brothers. Although Xu Yang is strong, I still have some confidence in defeating him." The arena of the Holy Ji Palace was located in the square. Many disciples came to watch even before the main characters arrived. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a deafening sound came from the sky. Following that, Xu Yang rushed over with an unparalleled aura. "Xu Yang is here," someone in the crowd whispered. Today, Xu Yang looked very confident and exuded a terrifying aura. He looked up and scanned the square. "Where is Fang Chen?" "Senior brother Xu Yang, are you in such a hurry to give me the thunderstruck wood?" Fang Chen's voice came from afar. He walked out from the crowd and stepped onto the arena. At this point, Xiekue and Wang Daoyun could only hope that Fang Chen could last 10 moves. "I thought you wouldn't dare to come." Xu Yang grinned and looked at him as if he was looking at prey. In fact, in Xu Yang's heart, Fang Chen was already a dead man. "I have the thunderstruck wood. I'm just afraid that you don't have the ability to win." Today, Xu Yang's attitude towards Fang Chen was completely different. Fang Chen expressed that he hoped Xu Yang would take out the thunderstruck wood. He was afraid that Xu Yang would go back on his word. "HMPH, who do you think I am? Why would I go back on my word? Besides, do you think you can win against me?" Xu Yang said coldly. Fang Chen said calmly, "Since it's an arena competition, it must be fair. I hope to see the thunderstruck wood before the battle." Then, Fang Chen turned his head and cupped his hands in salute. "Senior brother Liu, please bear witness." Everyone looked over and saw a man in a white robe. Liu Yang, a disciple of the Holy Ji Palace. His strength was ranked in the top 30. Among the many disciples who came today, he had the highest prestige. He didn't expect Fang Chen to say that. But after thinking about it, he said bluntly, "Junior brother Fang is right. Since it's a competition, it must be fair. Junior brother Xu Yang, why don't you take out the thunderstruck wood and let me keep it for you? I'll return it after the battle." Hearing this, Fang Chen nodded at Liu Yang. Liu Yang's words were undoubtedly beneficial to him. He was very grateful. Xu Yang's eyes flickered. He raised his hand and a laser beam shot out. Liu Yang reached out and caught it. When the light dissipated, 10 pieces of black wood appeared before everyone's eyes. The wood was emitting a terrifying aura of thunder and lightning. It was the legendary thunderstruck wood. Thunderstruck wood. However, the disciples were envious. Some of them were even jealous. Is this the thunderstruck wood? Fang Chen's blood stirred. He seemed to be extremely eager to absorb the power of the thunderstruck wood. How about it? Can we start now? Xu Yang's eyes turned cold. Fang Chen smiled brightly. He stretched out 2 fingers and gestured the number 10. It meant that they were going to have a 10-move agreement. You think you can withstand 10 moves from me? Xu Yang sneered in his heart. Junior brothers, don't go overboard when sparring. Don't go for the kill, Liu Yang reminded. Then, as soon as Liu Yang finished speaking, Xu Yang released a terrifying aura. Boom! Xu Yang's body expanded. Above his head, 7 origin stars revolved. Flames surrounded his body. He was like a demon god. His pitch-black eyes stared at Fang Chen. First move. Xu Yang clenched his hand into a fist. It contained shocking power and blasted towards Fang Chen. This fist was like the light of the sun. It was incomparably powerful. Wherever it passed, the void would be refined. Fang Chen was very calm. Even if he was facing Xu Yang, who was at the peak of the 8th rank, he was still fearless. Under everyone's gaze, his Chaos Sword body was activated. The sword-shaped runes formed an armor and blocked Xu Yang's first move. Dong! The two collided. The power was so shocking that the arena was shaking. Fang Chen took a few steps back and looked at Xu Yang. Senior brother Xu Yang, did you not eat? Is that all you have? Hearing this, Xu Yang was furious. However, he suppressed his anger. Chapter 3581. The previous exchange was just a test. Even though Fang Chen was a rank 5 holy king, he could not get Xu Yang to take him seriously. In the square below the arena, many disciples were waiting quietly. Regardless of the outcome of this battle, Fang Chen was already in an undefeatable position. To be able to achieve so much in such a short period of cultivation and reach rank 5 holy king in such a short period of time, it was too dazzling. Many people looked at Fang Chen with envy. If there were no accidents, Fang Chen could be on par with the eldest senior brother of the Holy Ji Palace and even reach the level of Palace Master Lei Yi. To be able to evolve the Chaos Sword body to such a level, he is indeed a disciple personally brought in by Palace Master Lei Yi. Some disciples recognized Fang Chen's special body constitution and were shocked. Everyone was a disciple of the Holy Ji Palace and knew a lot about the Chaos Sword body. It could be said that a disciple with the Chaos Sword body was born to be a sword cultivator. Although the Chaos Sword body was the top special body constitution in the way of the sword, it was nothing in the Holy Ji Palace. There were many special body constitutions that were stronger than the Chaos Sword body. However, they could clearly feel that the Chaos Sword body that Fang Chen displayed was extremely powerful and seemed to have reached the peak. Amazing! Even Liu Yang could not help but exclaim. Boom! Sword chi surged from Fang Chen's body. He stood straight like a sharp sword and stood in the arena. His eyes shone and the hidden star sword appeared in his hand. In the next moment, he attacked first and displayed the Chaos Sword principle. Whoosh! Terrifying sword chi swept across the area and covered the entire arena. 4 different sword radiances entered the arena. Demon Slayer array, completed. After feeling the threat from the Demon Slayer array, Xu Yang did not hold back. He formed a seal with both hands and the power in the sky swept across and covered both his hands. He then slammed his palm forward. Kaboom! A deafening sound reverberated through the heavens and earth. Xu Yang's palms ruthlessly slammed onto the demon-slaying formation. The formation shook, and layers of ripples spread out. In the end, it blocked Xu Yang's powerful attack. This is the Demon Slayer array? After all, Xu Yang was a disciple of the Holy Ji Palace and a top disciple. He was familiar with the Holy Ji Palace's records and knew about the Demon Slayer array. How is this possible? Xu Yang was very surprised. He stared at Fang Chen in disbelief. What kind of secret was this guy hiding? At the same time, a white-robed elder appeared in the depths of the Holy Ji Palace as soon as the Demon Slayer matrix appeared. The space beside him twisted and the black-robed elder appeared as well. The two of them saw Fang Chen and the demon-slaying formation through the void. After so long, has the devil-slaying array finally reappeared? The white-robed old man's voice was hoarse as a smile appeared on his withered face. I see. The black-robed old man also nodded. At this moment, he finally understood what Palace Master Lei had said back then. He vaguely remembered that Palace Lord Lei had said that the world was about to change, and that the Holy Ji Palace would welcome a turning point. At that moment, he finally understood that Fang Chen was the turning point that Palace Master Lei had mentioned. Back then, when Huakong Saint fought the demon-slaying formation, he defeated all the invincible opponents in the world. His enemies trembled in fear upon hearing his name. He even killed an ancient powerhouse behind the no-demon cult by himself. Now, after so many years, the demon-slaying formation has finally reappeared. In ancient times, the demon-slaying formation was famous for its ferocity. It wiped out all the foreign races and protected the world. Unfortunately, Huakong Saint had fallen in the end. This little guy is interesting. They sensed carefully and found that Fang Chen's control of the demon-slaying formation had reached the point of perfection. It was not easy to have such achievements at his age. Old Hay, do you think he can win? The white-robed elder suddenly laughed. The black-robed elder thought for a moment and then said, his cultivation is too low after all. It will be difficult for him to defeat Xu Yang. However, with the demon-slaying formation, he won't be defeated. Other than the reclusive old monsters of the Holy Ji Palace, the other disciples were also paying attention to Fang Chen. In the arena, Xu Yang's face was completely serious. She was bathed in flames as she shuttled through the demon-slaying formation, looking for an opportunity to kill Fang Chen. I was worried that if I killed him, it would attract those old monsters. Now, I don't have to worry at all. The demon-slaying formation was very strong. At least, no one below the invincible saint could sense what was happening inside. This also made Xie Kuei and Wang Daoyun a little nervous. With this formation, junior brother Fang shouldn't be defeated, right? Xie Kuei said to himself. On the side, Wang Daoyun was silent. Boom. Inside the demon-slaying formation, there were big movements from time to time. Many disciples were curious about the battle situation. Would Fang Chen be able to withstand Xu Yang's attack? Damn it. After several consecutive attacks failed, Xu Yang fell into a state of madness. Her eyes were scarlet as she stared at Fang Chen, wanting to tear him into pieces. I'm going to kill you. Xu Yang was completely angry. She stomped her foot and the demon-slaying formation shook. Her figure flashed and instantly came in front of Fang Chen. Her fist flashed and enveloped Fang Chen. Swoosh. The shocking sword light, with the help of the demon-slaying formation, rushed out of Xu Yang's attack range. 7 moves. Fang Chen said. Humph. Xu Yang snorted angrily and then the power in her body surged. However, at this moment, 2 people quietly appeared in the demon-slaying formation. Seeing these 2 people, Fang Chen's pupils shrank, but he soon understood. In the myriad Dao world, people who could enter the demon-slaying formation so easily should be the upper echelons of the Dao Palace. Xu Yang. The black-robed elder said, in this demon-slaying formation, you can't defeat Fang Chen. Looking at the 2 elders, the restless power in the depths of Xu Yang's bloodline instantly retracted. A trace of panic flashed in his eyes, and then he said, Disciple Xu Yang greets the 2 elders. Let's end this battle here, the white-robed elder also said. No matter how unwilling Xu Yang was in his heart, facing 2 invincible saints, who were also old monsters that had survived from ancient times, he felt very weak and was afraid that his secret would be discovered. He was speechless and didn't know how to answer. In fact, he knew very well that if he didn't use that power in the demon-slaying formation, it would be impossible to defeat Fang Chen. He also didn't expect that this battle would draw out these 2 old monsters. He immediately decided not to attack. Little guy, you're interesting. The white-robed elder smiled at Fang Chen and then clapped his hands lightly. Suddenly, The demon-slaying formation that Fang Chen was so proud of collapsed silently. The demon-slaying formation disappeared. What was the result? This was the question that everyone was curious about. When they saw the black and white elders, as well as Fang Chen and Xu Yang, who were unharmed, they were a little stunned. Could it be that the two elders stepped in and stopped the battle? However, the black-robed elder's next sentence directly caused many disciples to boil. Chapter 3582. The appearance of the black and white elders meant that the battle had come to an end. Even though Xu Yang was unwilling, he did not dare to show it, because the people standing in front of him were the legendary black and white elders. If he made any strange movements, he would be discovered. Once his identity was exposed, he would die without a burial place. He could die, but at least his death had to be worth it. He looked coldly at Fang Chen, and a cold killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. He only had one thought now, and that was to kill Fang Chen. Others might not know about the battle with Fang Chen, but Xu Yang knew very well that even without the help of the Demon Slayer formation, Fang Chen's strength had already reached an unimaginable level. What worried Xu Yang the most was Fang Chen's incredible potential. A 5th-level Holy Emperor already had such combat strength. If he stepped into the 7th-level Holy Emperor realm, would he be able to defeat the 5 elements Holy Realm? Thinking of this, Xu Yang felt a lingering fear. Fang Chen must die. The more he thought about it, the more he knew how to endure. He snorted coldly and did not say anything else. At this moment, the entire square was in a state of shock. All the martial artists were tongue-tied. The words of the black and white elders were still echoing in their minds. What? After a long while, someone finally reacted and cried out. Fang Chen actually withstood 10 moves from Xu Yang? How is this possible? Xu Yang, who is at the peak of the 8th level, actually could not suppress Fang Chen? It's too terrifying. Junior brother Fang's potential is really amazing. Many people were shocked. They increasingly realized that Fang Chen's potential had already reached an unprecedented level. At the same time, they also understood why Palace Master Lei had personally come out to welcome Fang Chen. Everyone's eyes fell on Fang Chen. Their gazes were filled with desire. The black and white elders were full of praise for Fang Chen. Liu Yang, who was hosting the battle, also took the initiative to step forward and handed the thunderbolt wood to Fang Chen. Junior brother Fang, this is your thunderstruck wood. The 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood gave off a terrifying electric light. Many of the cultivators looked at them with envy. Fang Chen nodded and received the thunderstruck wood. Immediately, he felt a strong energy. This thunderbolt wood is not bad for you at your current stage. The black-robed old man stroked his beard and said with a smile. The white-robed old man nodded and explained the uses of the thunderstruck wood to Fang Chen. Everyone thought that the thunderstruck wood was only used for cultivation, but after listening to the white-robed old man's explanation, the disciples realized that the thunderstruck wood could also be used to refine weapons. The thunderstruck wood contains the strongest power of thunder in the world. Thunder is of the fire attribute. Absorbing the power of thunder in the thunderstruck wood will make it easier for an ancient martial art practitioner to comprehend the origin of fire, the white-robed elder said. There was a limit to the power within the thunderstruck wood. Once it was completely absorbed, there would be no value in cultivating it anymore. However, it was originally a type of wood, a wondrous treasure of the world. Refining it into a weapon would greatly increase the origin energy of the weapon, and it might even be able to raise the level of origin weapons. Alright, let's end the competition here. The black-robed old man said a few words to Fang Chen and then turned around to look at the ancient martial art practitioners. Now, the god-perishing battlefield is in chaos. There are evil forces from the primal chaos battlefield invading. Try not to go out. Stay in the myriad path world and cultivate hard. Dark clouds covered the god-perishing battlefield. Everyone realized that the end of the world was coming. Experts from various top forces gathered and headed to the Demon Skyfire region to suppress the young Marquis and the others. At this time, there was no doubt that the morale of the army needed to be stabilized. Hence, the black and white elders appeared. Soon, the disciples dispersed. Fang Chen followed the black and white elders and left. Damn it. Xu Yang clenched his fists and was extremely angry. Bang! He punched the wall and mud splashed. His face was hideous and his demonic chi was dispersing. His heart was bleeding. 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood, that was all of his property. He had actually given it away to someone he had to kill. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. His communication token vibrated. His expression changed and he quickly disappeared. Not long after, he left the myriad path world and appeared on a barren mountain. Senior brother Xu Yang. They were Yang Xian and Yuan Lai from the giant fire peak of the heaven-defying alliance. Both of them looked solemn. Did he fail? Yang Xian frowned. He didn't expect Xu Yang to fail to kill Fang Chen. If the black and white elders hadn't appeared, he would have died. Xu Yang said in a deep voice. He's lucky this time. I'll kill him next time. Yuan Lai stepped forward and said in a low voice, Senior brother Xu Yang, the god-perishing battlefield isn't peaceful now. The mysterious expert who occupied the demon skyfire region might start a war. When the time comes, the people will be plunged into misery and suffering. So, we have to kill Fang Chen as soon as possible. Xu Yang remained silent. Yang Xian flipped his palm and a palm-sized bronze mirror appeared in his palm. As soon as the bronze mirror appeared, it emitted a terrifying aura. There were complicated ripples flowing on the surface of the mirror. Xu Yang was stunned when he saw the bronze mirror. Senior brother Xu Yang, the Lord asked me to give this to you. Yang Xian said. Xu Yang grabbed the bronze mirror and smiled. With the sun-extinguishing mirror in hand, he's dead. Senior brother Xu Yang, we still have things to do. We'll go back first and wait for your good news. After saying that, Yuan Lai and Yang Xian left. Xu Yang looked at the sun-extinguishing mirror in his palm and sneered in his heart. Myriad Dao World, Dao Palace. On a mountain peak, Fang Chen followed the black and white elders to the thatched hut at the top of the mountain. You're Fang Chen? Black Elder asked. Fang Chen nodded. Then, Black Elder continued, do you know why we brought you here? Fang Chen shook his head, indicating that he didn't know. The black and white elders looked at each other. Old White, you tell him. Do you see this thatched hut? White Elder pointed at the thatched hut. Fang Chen looked up and sized it up seriously. Suddenly, he felt dizzy as if he had fallen into an illusion. Phew. His breathing became rapid. He shook his head violently to wake up. Just now, he was a little scared. He had just seen a shocking scene. On the tragic ground, there were countless corpses and rivers of blood. An evil force swept across the land as if it was going to devour heaven and earth. He saw the end of the world. Set up the Demon Slayer array. White Elder continued. Fang Chen was a little confused, but he still followed White Elder's instructions and set up the Demon Slayer array. Buzz. As soon as the Demon Slayer array was set up, the thatched hut suddenly trembled. A terrifying force penetrated the thatched hut and rushed into the Demon Slayer array. The two resonated with each other and burst out a bright force. For a moment, Fang Chen felt that his primordial spirit was about to be crushed. What a terrifying power! Fang Chen exclaimed and retreated. What was going on? Why could the Demon Slayer array resonate with the thatched hut? What was hidden in the thatched hut? He tried to stabilize his body and turned to look at the black and white elders. Dong dong dong. Chapter 3583. The mountain peak was barren, and the surrounding origin energy was illusory. Fang Chen even felt like he was in a barren land. However, the thatched cottage in the middle of the mountain peak gave him a very strange feeling. Dong dong dong. However, after he set up the Demon Slayer formation, the Demon Slayer formation resonated with the thatched cottage, and the blood in his body also became restless. Fang Chen was shocked. What was going on? What was in the thatched cottage? Why did it cause his blood to become restless? With all kinds of doubts in his mind, Fang Chen turned to look at the black and white elders. The two of them smiled faintly and nodded at Fang Chen. Elders, what is in the thatched cottage? Fang Chen could not help but ask. The black elder stroked his beard and said, since you can set up the Demon Slayer formation, it must have something to do with Wukong. Today, we will give you an opportunity. Let's see if you can grasp it. The White Elder also said, there is something you want in the thatched cottage. What you need to do is enter it. Fang Chen retracted his gaze, and his expression became serious. The two elders recognized the Demon Slayer formation, so they gave him an opportunity. He took a step forward and approached the thatched cottage. The blood in his body became more restless, and he was even a little excited. The terrifying power that enveloped Fang Chen before was actually becoming stronger. Fang Chen gritted his teeth and continued forward. Do you think he can succeed? The Black Elder asked. Elder Bai thought for a moment, then said, this child's potential is unimaginable. In my impression, there are many third-level holy kings who can kill sixth-level holy emperors, but there are almost none who can fight against seventh-level saints. After a pause, the White Elder continued, he can comprehend the Demon Slayer formation and has a perfect bloodline. This is simply destined. I believe the Alliance leader and the others already know of his existence. That's right. He is destined to bear a heavy burden in the future and save the world. Now it seems that their original plan was right. The Black and White Elders were full of praise for Fang Chen, and they even had some expectations. Time passed by slowly. The closer he got to the thatched cottage, the stronger the power became. When he finally reached the door of the thatched cottage, Fang Chen could barely move. Activate the Demon Slayer formation. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Fang Chen's ears. He was startled for a moment, then his eyes lit up. He opened his arms and combined his body with his mind. The Demon Slayer array began to operate crazily. The power of Demon Slayer spread out from his feet and quickly enveloped the thatched hut. At this moment, Fang Chen finally felt something strange. Around the thatched hut, complex runes flickered and emitted a dazzling light. The power of the Demon Slayer quickly seeped into it and then merged with it. At this point, Fang Chen closed his eyes and sensed the starry sky. He could even see the movement of the Devil Slayer formation. In the next moment, Fang Chen was enlightened. He clenched his hand into the void, and the space distorted into fragments that quickly spread out. The power of the Demon Slayer took the opportunity to enter the thatched hut. Then, Fang Chen felt a terrifying power in his heart. He found an opportunity and took a step forward, arriving in front of the thatched hut. He struck while the iron was hot, and with the power of the Demon Slayer, he opened the door of the thatched hut and entered. Boom! After he entered the thatched hut, lightning flashed in the sky, and a bright light burst out, resonating with the thatched hut on the peak of the mountain. The Black and White Elders looked at each other and did not speak for a long time. They did not expect Fang Chen to enter the thatched hut so easily. Just now, did he see through the core movement of the Demon Slayer formation? The Black Elder was dumbfounded. It was the first time he had seen such a strange scene. If I remember correctly, Wukong was just like this back then, right? The White Elder recovered after a long time. He thought that Fang Chen would need at least half a month to enter the thatched hut. Who would have thought that he would enter in the blink of an eye? After thinking for a moment, their eyes shone with golden light, as if they had seen hope in a hopeless situation. The stars were everywhere, and the stars were moving. Looking up, there was a brilliant starry sky. Looking down, there was a barren land. Fang Chen stood in the middle of heaven and earth, and it took him a long time to calm down. How did it form? Fang Chen was shocked. The thatched hut contained heaven and earth, and it was all-encompassing. It had melted heaven and earth into it. What kind of work was this? Even an invincible saint would not be able to create such an uncanny work of art. After the shock, Fang Chen began to look for opportunities seriously. He merged his primordial spirit into the starry sky, and his blood moved strangely, resonating with the thatched hut. Soon, he entered a state of enlightenment. At the same time, news came from the Demon Skyfire region. Many top forces had formed an alliance to suppress the young Marquis and his group. However, they were defeated in the first battle. The young Marquis didn't even need to make a move. His 8 servants joined forces and defeated the saints in the lead. For a moment, both sides were in a standoff. Many forces did not dare to attack rashly. They were stationed in the Demon Skyfire region, looking at the fire marrow mine from afar. In the sky above the mine, The young Marquis stood with his hands behind his back, looking arrogant. He glanced at the camp of the Alliance and sneered. A group of sinners dare to fight with me? He was the young Marquis, the son of Marquis Xiaoyao. He had a noble status and was extremely powerful. In the current situation, he was not afraid of anyone. He could suppress the Godfall battlefield with one hand. Young Marquis, these barbarians are really stupid. Humph, hypocrites. Some people were disdainful. The top forces seemed to be denouncing them on the surface, but they were secretly scheming against each other and were not united. Some people even secretly expressed that they wanted to defect. Those spineless people are still useful. Let them help me find the source ore, said the young Marquis. The source ore was very important to the young Marquis. He had to get it. Don't worry, young Marquis. These sinners are very spineless. As long as we promise them some benefits, they will be hell-bent on working for us. Of course, some neutral people were watching. They thought that the young Marquis had an invincible divine art. They wanted to get it, so they wanted to get in touch with the young Marquis. Bullshit, young Marquis, I can crush you anytime. Suddenly, there was a clamor. The young Marquis did not speak. One of his servants attacked. Boom. Explosions sounded between heaven and earth as the two of them fought fiercely. In the camp of the Alliance, some people recognized the combatants and cried out in surprise. Dark Ghost. It's actually Dark Ghost Lord. He's still alive. In an instant, the camp trembled. Many elders were shocked, and some of the younger ones asked, "Who is the Nether Ghost Lord?" "You don't even know Dark Ghost Lord." 3,000 years ago, he was an invincible super expert who swept through the world. His methods reached the heavens and he was arrogant. He never lost. Back then, who didn't know Dark Ghost Lord? He influenced a generation. Chapter 3584. The Nether Ghost Lord had once been a super expert. His name had shaken the world. His Nether Ghost life and death technique had shocked the world. Back then, when people talked about the Nether Ghost life and death technique, they were all terrified. After disappearing for countless years, the world had long forgotten this expert who had once shocked the world. Who would have thought that he would return at such a critical moment? The Nether Ghost Lord. The camp was in an uproar. The elders of the various forces were all excited. The appearance of the Nether Ghost Lord might be able to change the current situation. His black robe fluttered in the wind. Beneath his feet, a sinister and cold aura spread. The temperature in the air dropped rapidly. Everyone trembled. You're courting death. The Nether Ghost Lord's palm suddenly pressed down. His palm gave off a dazzling black light. One could vaguely hear the screams of ghosts. Countless black aura condensed into a savage creature that rushed out of his palm. It swept through the world and attacked the young Marquis servant. A mere sinner dares to attack me. You're courting death. The servant seemed to be born superior. He looked down on everything and looked down on the Nether Ghost Lord. Let me refine you, said Yi Futian. The servant raised his hand and slapped out. An earth-shattering dragon roar reverberated in the air above the demonic Skyfire domain. Everyone trembled. Such power. What kind of secret technique is this? Why is it so strong? Someone exclaimed in shock. The combat prowess displayed by the little Marquis group was simply too powerful. Moreover, the secret technique they cultivated was completely different from the secret techniques of the Godsfall battlefield. Even their origin power seemed to be different. Roar. The Nether Ghost Lord was too powerful. His aura was like a rainbow. He stomped his foot and soared into the air. He followed behind the evil creature and arrived in front of the servant. Shatter. The Nether Ghost Lord roared. The black creature formed from black aura opened its mouth and instantly swallowed the servant's palm. Crack. The black creature easily dissolved the servant's attack. After swallowing the palm, its aura grew stronger. Under the control of the Nether Ghost Lord, it attacked again. Ah! Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream was heard. The black creature had bitten off one of the servant's arms, causing blue blood to flow out. The servant's face was ferocious as he broke free from the black creature's attack range. He quickly retreated and roared in anger, "Despicable sinner, You dare to cut off my arm? I, Ning Qi, will tear you into pieces so that you will never be reincarnated. However, just as he finished speaking, the black creature opened its bloody mouth again and charged at him. Kill. The Nether Ghost Lord was expressionless as he used the Nether Ghost life and death art, his killing intent surging. In the encampment, an elder revealed a smile. As expected of the Nether Ghost Lord. Truly powerful. After all, he was a super strong cultivator from 3,000 years ago. He could control life and death. Back then, he had already stepped into the invincible saint realm. Now, he is even more unfathomable. The dark ghost life and death art is too powerful. It can forcefully strip a cultivator's primordial spirit and destroy it. The most important things for a cultivator were the primordial spirit and the origin source. If the origin source star was shattered, it could be reformed, but if the primordial spirit was destroyed, the cultivator would die completely. The dark ghost life and death technique targeted the primordial spirit. The elders in the encampment spoke one after another. On the battlefield, the Nether Ghost Lord had complete control. The servants were suppressed, and the black creature constantly tore at them. In the air above the fire essence mine, the young Marquis' face was gloomy, his eyes filled with killing intent. He did not say a word, but the other servants could feel his anger. One of the female servants said, "Young Marquis, this person is a bit demonic. The secret technique he used is somewhat related to our place. Ning Qi is not his match. What is there to say to a sinner? Let's attack together and destroy him." Myriad Path World, Dao Palace. The power of the thunderstruck wood was very strong. After Fang Chen absorbed 5 pieces of the thunderstruck wood, he had completely comprehended the fire origin source. Boom! He suddenly opened his eyes. Flames surrounded him as if they could burn the sky. The fire origin source filled his entire body. Is this the fire origin source? Fang Chen stretched out a finger. A wisp of flame danced on his fingertip. The power of the origin source was hidden within. Of the 5 origins, one could become a saint if they could comprehend one. Those who could comprehend 2 were few and far between. Their potential was comparable to the top geniuses of the God's Fall battlefield. Those with 3 origins were rare. Even in the Dao Palace, there had only been 1 in all these years. Whoosh! Fang Chen withdrew his aura and exhaled. He relaxed his mind. With a thought, the 2 origins circled around him, swimming slowly like yin and yang fish. The repulsion is very strong. Fang Chen whispered. Although he had mastered 2 origins, he could clearly feel the repulsion between them. The ancient Almighty spent their entire lives searching for a way to fuse the origins. If they could fuse them, their power would increase exponentially. The 5 origins were the original power of heaven and earth. They formed the balance of heaven and earth. The 5 powers were completely different and repulsed each other. But the creativity of humans was limitless. Since it existed, it was reasonable. The ancient Almighty had succeeded. At the same time, they had also found a path for cultivators to reach the peak of martial arts. After thinking for a moment, Fang Chen shook his head. He had just mastered 2 origins. It would be too difficult to fuse them. He should not bite off more than he could chew for the time being. The power of fusing 2 origins is already earth-shattering. What about 3 or 4? Suddenly, a curious thought popped up in Fang Chen's mind. Since ancient times, was there anyone who possessed 5 origins and merged them together? Can Primal Chaos Supreme do it? Fang Chen murmured. After stepping into the 5-element saint realm, one would understand how difficult it was to cultivate in the saint realm. It was like a threshold with every step. There seemed to be only one level of difference between an invincible saint and a Primal Chaos Supreme. But in reality, there was an insurmountable gap. After the God's Fall battlefield, heaven and earth changed dramatically. The Primal Chaos Supreme had become a legendary existence, extinct in the world. There were almost no records of the Primal Chaos Supreme in today's books. Fang Chen did not understand much about the mysteries of that legendary realm. Gently shaking his head, he stopped thinking about it. He stood up and put away the remaining 5 pieces of thunderstruck wood. As for the 5 pieces that had been used, They had already dimmed. Fang Chen could feel the excitement of the hidden star sword. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, old brother. I'll let you devour these pieces of thunderstruck wood. Wait for me to find a blacksmith in the Dao Palace." During this seclusion, Fang Chen had comprehended the second origin. His strength had skyrocketed. He had also completely comprehended the origin sword art. His trump card, the heaven-severing alchemy, had also improved. If he were to face Xu Yang again, he was confident that he could defeat him. Dong dong dong. Wang Daoyun came, bringing news of the demonic Skyfire domain. Fang Chen's expression was grave. Even the Nether Ghost Lord was defeated. Fang Chen was a little surprised. He did not expect the young Marquis to have a heaven-defying treasure that could block the Nether Ghost Lord's attack. Who are they? Fang Chen was even more puzzled. He thought of many things. Chapter 3585. Fang Chen was deep in thought. Who were the young Marquis and the others? Where did they come from? In fact, Fang Chen had already guessed the origins of the young Marquis and the others. As soon as they appeared, strange signs appeared on the chaos battlefield. It was completely sealed off and isolated from the world, trapping the leaders of many top forces. Fang Chen even guessed that this was most likely a conspiracy against the God's Fall battlefield. He recalled the evil expert he met in the ancient Chaos Demon Emperor's mausoleum and the expert who was worshipped on the mysterious altar in the forbidden land of the North Sea. At that time, he thought that it was only an invincible saint. However, as his cultivation increased and he came into contact with more and more secrets, he was sure that the aura that made people tremble was not something an invincible saint could possess. Could it be that all of this is related to that evil expert? Fang Chen frowned and pondered. In the God's Fall battlefield, no one had ever heard of that evil expert. However, if such an expert was really in the God's Fall battlefield, he would definitely be discovered. Could it be that his headquarters is in the Chaos battlefield? The appearance of the young Marquis and the strange movements on the Chaos battlefield are the prelude to the God's Fall battle. In the past, Fang Chen had learned from the ancient records that the God's Fall battle had occurred many times, not once. Every countless years, a God's Fall battle would suddenly erupt. All of this seemed to be controlled by an invisible hand. "Junior brother Fang, what's wrong?" Wang Daoyun's voice pulled Fang Chen's thoughts back to reality. He glanced at the latter and gathered his thoughts. He shook his head and said, "Senior brother Wang, I'm fine." Next, Wang Daoyun told Fang Chen everything he knew. After Wang Daoyun left, Fang Chen had mixed feelings. At this moment, he really wanted to ask Palace Lord Thunder for advice. Unfortunately, the latter had also entered the Chaos battlefield. Even the Nether Ghost Lord was defeated. Who else in the vast God's Fall battlefield can suppress the young Marquis? Just as Fang Chen was thinking, the Black and White Elders appeared. "How is the thunderstruck wood?" White Elder asked with a smile. Fang Chen looked at the Black and White Elders, somewhat stunned. He had just finished cultivating and the two elders already knew? Could it be that they had been paying attention to him all along? Disciple Fang Chen greets the two elders. Fang Chen cupped his fists. "How much did you absorb?" Elder Black asked with a grin. "The way I see it, at your current level, you can only absorb the energy from 3 pieces of thunderstruck wood. If you want to completely comprehend the origin of fire, you'll need to absorb at least 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood." As he spoke, Elder Black stroked his beard, as if he was very confident in his judgment. "Old Black, don't forget that this kid's potential is unprecedented. Even in the Holy Ji Palace, he would at least be ranked in the top 3, Elder Bai said. There was some debate as to whether or not he could be ranked first. After all, the heaven-defying Alliance Master had already become the overlord of the God's Fall battlefield. Fang Chen still had a long way to go. As for the top 3, it was certain. My guess is that Fang Chen can absorb at least 5 pieces of thunderstruck wood. As for comprehending the origin of fire, he still needs some time. Little fellow, how is it? Elder Black and Elder Black looked at each other, then their eyes fell on Fang Chen. Fang Chen chuckled. Your disciple is stupid. I only absorbed 5 pieces of thunderstruck wood. I knew it. Elder Black clapped his hands, as if he was very satisfied with his guess. However, Fang Chen's next sentence stunned the two elders. However, your disciple has already comprehended the origin of fire. What? Elder Black and Elder Black repeated, as if they were afraid that they had misheard. After receiving Fang Chen's confirmation, Elder Black and Elder Black's eyes widened, somewhat at a loss. How is this possible? The two elders could not believe it. They had never seen a monster who could comprehend the origin of fire after absorbing 5 pieces of thunderstruck wood. This, with a thought, Fang Chen released the power of the origin of fire. Elder Black and Elder Black were speechless. They had just said that Fang Chen's potential was at least in the top 3 in the history of the Dao Palace. However, now they could say with certainty that Fang Chen's potential was number 1 in history. Even the alliance leader of the heaven-defying alliance could not do this at his age. Such potential. Elder Black and Elder Black took a deep breath, feeling excited. The two walked to a corner and whispered. No one knew what they were discussing. Fang Chen shrugged, expressing his helplessness. Soon, Elder Black and Elder Black returned to Fang Chen's side. They seemed to have reached a consensus. Elder Black, you say it, Elder White said. Elder Black looked at Fang Chen. You should be clear about the current situation in the magic Skyfire region, right? Fang Chen nodded. Elder Black continued, those people in the magic Skyfire region came from the Chaos battlefield. On the surface, they are looking for the Mother Ore, but in reality, they want to start a war. Elder Hei's next sentence caused Fang Chen's heart to tremble. The battle of the gods in the ancient times was caused by the super experts behind the young Marquis. What? Fang Chen exclaimed. It seemed that his guess was right. Elder Black then told him that there were very few top experts in the battlefield of the gods. However, it would be difficult for the young Marquis to defeat them all. In the dark, there were some old monsters who had hidden themselves from the world, waiting for an opportunity. At the critical moment, the two of them would make a move. Since the Chaos battlefield has been closed, then the experts behind the young Marquis should not be able to come out, right? Then why don't the top experts in the battlefield of the gods eliminate the young Marquis and the others? Fang Chen asked. Elder White sneered. Humph, this matter has too many implications. We cannot act rashly. Otherwise, there might be another battle of the gods. Fang Chen wanted to say something but was interrupted by Elder Black. Currently, the magic Skyfire region is in a state of confrontation. There won't be any trouble for the time being. However, the news of the Mother Ore will definitely cause chaos. The young Marquis has issued a reward for the Mother Ore. There will definitely be some people who want to join the young Marquis and cause chaos in the world. Elder Black said. Right now, the most important thing for you is to find a way to increase your strength. You are not qualified to participate in the battle of the magic Skyfire region. Elder White said. I have come to you this time because I have something for you to do. The first is to fulfill your unfulfilled wish. The second is to train you. The third is to get rid of evil. Sky Sword Peak Master. The news of the Sky Sword Peak Master and the No Demon cult brought by the Black and White Elders greatly shocked Fang Chen. Back then, the Sky Sword Peak Master fell into the No Demon cult's trap because he wanted to avenge him. Since then, he had been inquiring about the news. Now, there was finally some progress. You don't have to think too much about the situation in the magic Skyfire region. Go and do this thing first. With the Nether Ghost Lord leading many elders to confront the young Marquis, he could not be distracted. This was the perfect opportunity for Fang Chen to increase his strength. Wang. Elder Black flicked his finger and a ray of light entered Fang Chen's mind. Chapter 3586. During the trip to the Kang Kingdom, Fang Chen and the others had ruined the plans of the No Demon cult, causing the No Demon cult to seek revenge. They had escaped from the brink of death. A stronghold that the No Demon cult had painstakingly built was exposed by Fang Chen. Therefore, they were filled with hatred towards Fang Chen. They had tried everything to get rid of Fang Chen. However, with the help of the Sky Sword Peak Master, Fang Chen had successfully returned to the heaven-defying alliance. Later, The Sky Sword Peak Master had charged to the Kang Kingdom in a fit of rage and killed all the remaining members of the No Demon cult. Later, the Sky Sword Peak Master had disappeared. This had always been Fang Chen's inner demon. The Sky Sword Peak Master had disappeared because of him. Before, he had not been strong enough to save the Sky Sword Peak Master. Now, he had stepped into the 5th level Saint King realm. Even if he faced a saint at the peak of the 8th level, he had nothing to fear. In addition, he had comprehended the origin of fire. With 2 origins in his body, his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. He was much stronger than Shu Yang. After the Black and White Elders left, Fang Chen seriously checked the information in his mind. After a while, he slowly opened his eyes and sat on the stone bench. A cold murderous intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. Complex patterns flowed on the surface of his skin. The surrounding temperature plummeted. No demon cult. Fang Chen clenched his fists. He was unusually angry. I didn't expect you to be hiding here. Fang Chen took out a map of the God's Fall battlefield. His finger fell on a certain location in the southeast of the map. Broken Thunder Mountain. This was a dangerous place in the God's Fall battlefield. It was not much different from the demonic Skyfire territory. It contained great danger. The slightest carelessness could cause one's soul to scatter. Many years ago, there was a rumor about Broken Thunder Mountain. It was said that in ancient times, a Thunder Waymaster had fallen on this mountain peak. The mountain was filled with the power of thunder. Anyone who approached it would suffer the pain of being struck by thousands of thunderbolts. Who would have thought that the lair of the No Demon cult was hidden here? After a short rest, Fang Chen set off. Junior brother Fang, where are you going? Just as he left the courtyard, he saw Xie Kuei walking towards him with a smile on his honest face. Fang Chen's battle with Shu Yang had left a deep impression on him. He felt that Fang Chen was worth making friends with. There are some things I need to take care of. Fang Chen also had a good impression of Xie Kuei. When Shu Yang made things difficult for him, Xie Kuei still dared to stand up for him even though he knew that he was no match for him. This alone was enough to make him a friend. Leave the myriad Dao world. Xie Kuei's eyes flashed as he asked in a low voice. Fang Chen nodded. Xie Kuei's expression changed drastically. He shook his head and said, Junior Martial Brother Fang, the God's Fall battlefield has not been peaceful recently. I advise you not to leave the myriad Dao world so easily. The myriad Dao world was the core and secret base of the heaven-defying alliance. It was created by the Alliance Master himself. Even primal Chaos Supremes would not be able to invade the myriad Dao world. Thank you for your kind intentions, Senior Martial Brother Kuei. But there are some things that I must do. Fang Chen said. Seeing Fang Chen's firm attitude, Xie Kuei did not try to dissuade him. He just whispered in Fang Chen's ear, reminding him to be careful of Shu Yang. That guy has always been a vengeful person. This time, he lost to you 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood in front of everyone. He will definitely hold a grudge. He might even be watching you. Xie Kuei knew Shu Yang better than anyone else. That guy was a hypocrite who would do anything to achieve his goals. Therefore, he had a bad reputation in the Dao Palace. Shu Yang. Fang Chen shrugged. If Shu Yang really dared to come, he would not mind teaching him a lesson. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Fang Chen left the myriad Dao world through the space-time gate and appeared in a wasteland. He checked the map and then disappeared into the horizon. Not long after Fang Chen left, the space-time gate shook and Shu Yang appeared. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he sneered. What an arrogant guy. Having said that, he took out his communication jade pendant and sent out the news that Fang Chen had left the myriad Dao world. Then, he got up and chased after Fang Chen. In front of a mountain range in the distance, 2 figures were waiting patiently. Senior brother Yang Xian, do you think Fang Chen will take this path? Yuan Lai asked. Yang Xian's face was gloomy as he stared straight ahead. Senior apprentice brother Shu Yang's message shouldn't be wrong. What we need to do is think of a way to stop him. Once senior apprentice brother Shu Yang catches up, our mission will be complete. Killing Fang Chen was an order from the higher-ups of the limitless demon cult. Yang Xian was a little selfish. If they could help Xu Yang kill Fang Chen, they would be rewarded greatly. I hope he will take this path. Yuan Lai looked around with a blade of grass in his mouth. Rustle. Suddenly, rustling sounds came from the mountain range. Yang Xian's expression changed as he prepared for battle. Yuan Lai seemed to have realized something. Is he here? Whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Fang Chen entered the mountain range. He was worried about the Sky Sword Peak Master, so he was extremely fast. Fang Chen. A stern voice came from the depths of the mountain range. Then, two figures appeared in front of Fang Chen. It's you. Seeing Yuan Lai and Yang Xian, Fang Chen was a little surprised. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet junior brother Fang here. Yang Xian said with a smile. Junior brother Fang, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going? Why? Do you look down on your former sect mates after joining the Dao Palace? Seeing that Fang Chen was silent, Yuan Lai said, Are you still holding a grudge about what happened on the giant fire peak? What's the matter? Fang Chen did not have a good impression of the two. Moreover, he was eager to save people and did not want to waste time with them. Junior brother Fang, we've been talking about you ever since you joined the Dao Palace. Since we finally meet today, why don't we catch up? Yang Xian pointed at the blue stone beside him and sat down first. Back then, when I first saw junior brother Fang, I thought that junior brother Fang would definitely become an outstanding disciple of the heaven-defying alliance in the future. Fang Chen ignored them and walked around them, preparing to leave. At that moment, Yuan Lai blocked in front of Fang Chen. Junior brother Fang, where are you going? Fang Chen frowned. Are you trying to stop me? I wouldn't dare. Junior brother Fang is a disciple of the Dao Palace, and I, Yuan Lai, am just an ordinary disciple of the giant fire peak. I just want to ask junior brother Fang about cultivation. What? Junior brother Fang, are you not going to give me face? Yang Xian said coldly. Face? Fang Chen sneered and continued forward. Boom. Yuan Lai exuded a terrifying aura as he stood in front of Fang Chen. Junior brother Fang, I hope you can cooperate with us. Cooperate? Fang Chen muttered to himself. Do you think you're worthy? With a boom, Fang Chen punched out, carrying the power of the origin of fire, and landed heavily on Yuan Lai. Yuan Lai's body was instantly sent flying. His clothes were burned, his organs were shaken, and his face turned pale. Yuan Lai's heart trembled. It had not been long, and Fang Chen had become so powerful. Chapter 3587. Yuan Lai's heart trembled. When he fought with Fang Chen in the giant fire peak's purple bamboo garden, the latter was just a fledgling. Now, he was actually suppressed by his opponent's aura. He tried hard to stabilize himself. His heart was beating fast and his forehead was covered in sweat. He turned his head and looked at Yang Xian. His eyes were pleading for help. Fang Chen's strength was beyond his expectations. At this moment, a trace of fear appeared in Yuan Lai's heart. He was waiting for Yang Xian to speak. As expected, Yang Xianfeng immediately stood in front of Yuan Lai. His pitch-black eyes stared at Fang Chen. You are indeed worthy of being the genius disciple that Palace Master Lei has taken a fancy to. It has only been a short period of time and your strength has already grown to such an extent. If you are given more time, you will definitely become a threat in the future. Yang Xian spread out his hands and slowly rotated them. Hot air emitted from his palms. The aura on his body gradually soared. In the blink of an eye, it soared to the maximum. Rumor has it that you defeated a 6th-level Holy Emperor in the Magic Skyfire domain as a 3rd-level Holy King. You can even challenge a 7th-level Saint. I, Yang Xian, would like to see if you are as strong as the rumors say. In the outer sect of the heaven-defying alliance, Frost Holy Emperor and the others were already considered the top disciples. Back then, the 5 of them had gone together for the mission in the demonic fire domain. The outside world was abuzz with rumors that Fang Chen's combat strength was heaven-defying. He had killed Niu Mo and severely injured Tang Yi. He had even caused a battle between the top figures. Yang Xian was unwilling to believe it. He thought that the outside world was wrong. Even if Fang Chen had done it, he must have borrowed the help of Frost Holy Emperor and the others. Yang Xian was the chief disciple of the giant fire peak. Not long after the battle in the demonic fire domain, he had broken through his shackles and his strength had improved. He had successfully challenged the chief disciple and become the new chief disciple. He thought that his potential was not inferior to the disciples of the Holy Ji Palace. He just lacked some opportunities. In addition, the big figure behind him had given a death order to kill Fang Chen. Combined with all these, his anger towards Fang Chen had reached its peak. Kill! Yang Xian roared. He stomped his foot and his body turned into a rainbow. He pierced through the void and pierced toward Fang Chen's chest. At the same time, a spear appeared in his hand. Demonic spear suppresses the heavens. Yang Xian's long spear suddenly turned, and the power of fire origin erupted, condensing into a fire dragon in the sky. Then, Yang Xian leaped and arrived above the fire dragon. The long spear in his hand crazily absorbed the power of the fire dragon. Hoo hoo hoo. The mountain range turned into a sea of fire, and the surrounding void was sealed. Fang Chen stood in the sea of fire, coldly watching all of this. If it was before the magic sky fire domain mission, he might have been afraid of Yang Xian. However, things were different now. Primordial chaos sword art. The corners of Fang Chen's mouth curled up, revealing a cold smile. Without saying a word, he took out the star-concealing sword and displayed the origin sword art. After absorbing the mother ore and refining the thunderstruck wood, he had mastered the Hunyuan sword art and cultivated it to the extreme. The ninth sword had combined the power of the previous 8 swords, and its power had reached the extreme. When the sword was unleashed, heaven and earth shook. The dazzling sword light soared into the sky and turned into a shocking sword shadow above the sea of fire. It carried the endless power of metal origin and released an invincible sword chi. It was as fast as lightning above the sea of fire. Poochie. When the shocking sword shadow hit the sea of fire, the primordial chaos sword chi quickly penetrated the sea of fire. At the same time, countless cracks appeared on the sea of fire. Catcher. The star-hidden sword cut open the sea of fire as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Then, the sword hacked at Yang Xian's body. You're courting death. Looking at the incoming star-concealing sword, Yang Xian sneered. He melted into the sea of fire and launched a crazy attack on Fang Chen. However, in the next second, he went completely crazy. How is this possible? The invincible sword chi cut through the sea of fire, and his body was severely injured. He fell to the ground with a bang, and the sea of fire was quickly extinguished. Covered in blood, he quickly got up from the ground and glared at Fang Chen. You, too weak. Fang Chen shook his head and seemed to be talking to himself. The star-concealing sword slashed down again. Yang Xian was horrified. Let's attack together. He yelled at Yuan Lai, who was behind him. Only then did Yuan Lai react and attack in a panic. The two of them joined forces to stop Fang Chen. Poochie. The ninth sword of the primordial chaos sword art was too powerful. It was so powerful that Yuan Lai and Yang Xian couldn't resist it at all. They were very embarrassed and prayed that Xu Yang would come quickly. Senior brother Yang Xian, what should we do? After Yuan Lai was defeated, he shouted loudly. Xu Yang will be here soon. Hold on a little longer. Yang Xian secretly complained. Xu Yang. Hearing this, Fang Chen's face was completely gloomy. He had guessed that the two of them should have a premeditated plan to stop him here, but he didn't expect that Xu Yang was behind this matter. Humph. Fang Chen coldly snorted. He waved the star-concealing sword and performed the primordial chaos sword art again. This time, Fang Chen didn't hold back. With a slash, an invincible sword chi swept through the world. No, Yuan Lai didn't have time to dodge at all. His body was split open and his flesh was badly mangled. He died directly. Yang Xian was obviously scared out of his wits. He no longer attacked and frantically fled. At the same time, he sent a message to Xu Yang. How can he be so strong? Yang Xian's heart was trembling. He didn't want to see Fang Chen for a second. He just wanted to get away from this place. Rip. Suddenly, a figure wriggled on the road in front of Yang Xian. Want to leave? Fang Chen held the star-concealing sword and pressed the tip of the sword against Yang Xian's throat. Plop! Yang Xian knelt on the ground. His body trembled as he constantly begged for mercy. "Junior brother Fang, I was wrong. Considering that we are from the same sect, please let me go this time. I promise I won't attack you again in the future. It's all my fault. I was blinded by greed and was ordered by someone. All of this was Xu Yang's idea. He asked me and Yuan Lai to stop you here. He wants to kill you. I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words." Fang Chen obviously didn't believe Yang Xian's words. With a slight force, the tip of the sword pierced Yang Xian's throat. Blood flowed out, causing Yang Xian to be even more terrified. Yang Xian gritted his teeth. "If I tell you, will you let me go? You don't have the qualifications to bargain." Yang Xian lowered his head. He was depressed. "I know you want to kill me, but I have no choice. I'm just a small fry." Whoosh! In the distant horizon, a bright light pierced through the void and shot over. When Fang Chen reacted, the light had already pierced through Yang Xian's head. Bang! Yang Xian fell to the ground unwillingly. He died with his eyes wide open. Whoosh! Whoosh! Xu Yang approached from afar and coldly glanced at Yang Xian's corpse. Then, his gaze fell on Fang Chen. Silencing a witness. Fang Chen seemed to have smelled something and stared at Xu Yang. Chapter 3588. Amidst the raging winds, a figure shot over. Xu Yang had arrived. Fang Chen's expression turned grave as he looked at Xu Yang. Based on Xu Yang's actions, it seemed like there was a secret behind Yang Xian. Earlier on, Yang Xian was just about to speak when Xu Yang silenced him through the void. Fang Chen thought of many things. Why did Xu Yang challenge him as soon as he entered the Dao Palace? Moreover, when they fought, it was obvious that Xu Yang wanted to kill him. Even though he hid it well, Fang Chen still felt it. However, due to the sudden appearance of the black and white elders, he did not succeed. Now, Xu Yang did not hesitate to expose his identity to stop him. What was all this about? Fang Chen. Xu Yang did not even look at the two corpses on the ground. It was as if Yang Xian and Yuan Lai were nothing to him. He narrowed his eyes and stared at Fang Chen. His killing intent was naturally emitted, giving people a creepy feeling. Fang Chen also felt that something was wrong with Xu Yang. Xu Yang stretched out his hand and said with a smile, "Hand over the thunderbolt wood." Xu Yang's things weren't something that anyone could touch. Moreover, those were the 10 pieces of thunderbolt wood that he had painstakingly obtained after entering the Dao Palace. "I don't understand what you are talking about." Fang Chen shook his head. "Chen-ph, are you trying to play dumb with me? Do you think you are still in the myriad Dao world?" Xu Yang sneered. He waved his hand and sealed the void to prevent Fang Chen from escaping. "The thunderbolt wood is a rare treasure of heaven and earth. It is not something that you can touch. Hand it over and I will leave your corpse intact. For 10 pieces of thunderbolt wood, you let Yang Xian and Yuan Lai stop me and even put their lives on the line?" Fang Chen said. Xu Yang sneered and looked at Fang Chen as if he was an idiot. He shrugged his shoulders and said, "After today, many disciples of the Dao Palace will know that it was you who held a grudge against Yuan Lai and took the opportunity to kill them." Not only did Xu Yang want to kill Fang Chen, he also wanted to portray Fang Chen as a devil who killed his fellow disciples. "Why are you doing this?" Fang Chen looked at Xu Yang. "Just because of 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood." Of course, he knew that Xu Yang didn't kill him for the 10 pieces of thunderstruck wood. He suspected that Xu Yang had something to do with the no-devil cult. "Why are you asking so many questions when you're about to die?" Xu Yang was getting impatient. He slammed his palms together, causing the void to tremble. The terrifying origin energy in the surroundings gathered crazily. In the blink of an eye, it formed a terrifying vortex in front of him. Upon closer inspection, there were specks of resplendent light within the vortex. Xu Yang's palm struck out toward Fang Chen, causing thunder to rumble within the vortex. Rumble. A deafening sound resounded through the sky. The palm, which carried infinite power, arrived in front of Fang Chen in an instant. The peerless aura completely enveloped Fang Chen. This was a sure-kill attack. No one in the same realm dared to face it head-on. Go to hell. Xu Yang was confident in his own strength. Back in the Dao Palace, he couldn't use his full strength because of the Demon Slayer array. Moreover, the appearance of the black and white elders forced him to endure. Now that the surrounding void was sealed, he wasn't worried about being discovered. In other words, he could fight without holding back. If it was before, I might have been afraid of you. Looking at the approaching palm, Fang Chen mumbled. He then threw out a punch. The chaotic sword body was fully activated. Sword-shaped runes shone and covered his fist. Dong. The fist shadow collided with the palm imprint, and an explosion ensued. A terrifying shockwave swept across the area, causing the seal in the surroundings to shake violently. When the smoke dispersed, Fang Chen stood motionless. Seeing this, Xu Yang was shocked. You absorbed the energy of the thunderstruck wood. Xu Yang's eyes were filled with rage. He couldn't wait to tear Fang Chen into pieces. When he exchanged blows with Fang Chen, he sensed the fire origin energy in Fang Chen's fist shadow. This energy came from the thunderstruck wood. Damn you! Xu Yang was furious. He had comprehended the thunderstruck wood for so long, but he didn't dare to absorb it. He didn't expect that this guy would benefit from it. Die. Xu Yang couldn't care less anymore. He attacked crazily. Palm after palm, the void was about to be smashed. Boom boom boom. After a series of crazy attacks, Xu Yang was shocked to find that Fang Chen blocked his attacks so easily. Most importantly, Fang Chen didn't look bad at all. He didn't even feel like he had used his full strength. Thunderstruck wood. Xu Yang gritted his teeth. He attributed Fang Chen's increase in strength to the thunderstruck wood. He thought that Fang Chen's strength came from the thunderstruck wood. He was greatly stimulated and went into a frenzy. Die for me. Xu Yang unleashed his ultimate skill. Like a lion, he engaged in an intense battle with Fang Chen. However, Fang Chen was able to withstand his attacks with ease. The same unique skill, the same secret skill, and the same person used it. The power was even stronger than before. However, Fang Chen was able to deal with it calmly. He didn't even set up the Demon Slayer formation. What did this mean? Fang Chen's strength had increased to a terrifying level in a short time. In the last fight, Fang Chen was a 5th-level Holy Emperor. With the help of the Demon Slayer formation, he blocked 10 of Xu Yang's attacks. Now, his strength was comparable to Xu Yang's. Today, you must die. Xu Yang was completely enraged. Every attack could erupt with the force of a thunderbolt. Fang Chen executed the primordial chaos sword technique, using his sword technique to deal with Xu Yang's palm technique. The battle between the two caused the sky to fall and the earth to crack. Demon Slayer formation. Finally, after a fierce battle, Fang Chen set up the Demon Slayer formation. None of the disciples of the Holy Ji Palace can be underestimated. Fang Chen muttered to himself. After all, Xu Yang was one of the top 50 disciples of the Holy Ji Palace. His strength was incredible. It was difficult to resist with the chaotic universe sword technique alone. He needed to borrow the power of the Demon Slayer formation. The Demon Slayer formation is useless against me. Xu Yang's eyes were red as he roared in anger. He stared at Fang Chen and said word by word. The hidden power in his body was restless. His palms shone with a strange light. With a thought, the power in his body could be completely unleashed. Useless? Fang Chen sneered. He controlled the Demon Slayer formation to suppress Xu Yang. Raw. Xu Yang didn't seem to want to delay any longer. He didn't expect Fang Chen to be so powerful. Now, he only had one thought, and that was to kill Fang Chen. Let's end this quickly. Once he used that power, it would cause a huge commotion. At that time, the people in the myriad Dao world would be able to sense it. Therefore, after killing Fang Chen, he immediately left the place. Whoosh! Xu Yang's ferocious face gradually calmed down. He took a deep breath and said coldly, "You are indeed a genius comparable to the ancient era. Unfortunately, you will still die in my hands." Chapter 3589. Xu Yang's aura soared to the extreme in a strange way, and then the aura condensed into a blood-red phantom behind him. As soon as the blood-red phantom appeared, Xu Yang's strength increased several times, from the peak of the 8th rank to the 9th rank in an instant. Seeing this, Fang Chen was stunned for a moment, then took a deep breath, and a shocking anger appeared in his eyes. No demon cult. Fang Chen had once fought with the no demon cult in the Kang country, so he was very familiar with their aura. After such a long time, Fang Chen immediately thought of the no demon cult when he felt the bloodline aura again. The perfect bloodline in his body was vibrating abnormally, as if it was about to break out of his body. Xu Yang had completely demonized, and the no demon cult bloodline hidden in his body was completely activated, thus obtaining supreme power. You're from the no demon cult. Fang Chen suppressed the anger in his heart and asked coldly. Keek. You only know now. It's too late. For so many years, anyone who knew Xu Yang's true identity had been killed by him. I endured humiliation and infiltrated the Heaven-Defying Alliance and the Dao Palace in order to steal secrets and give the Heaven-Defying Alliance a fatal blow at the critical moment. Xu Yang's face was ferocious as he spoke crazily. In order to let him infiltrate the Dao Palace, the no demon cult had paid a heavy price, so he was particularly important, and the no demon cult had always been unwilling to expose this chess piece. But now it was different. Fang Chen's battle in the magic Skyfire domain had shaken the world, and everyone knew that the Heaven-Defying Alliance had produced an amazing genius. After the no demon cult obtained detailed information about Fang Chen, the upper echelons immediately issued a death order to kill Fang Chen at all costs. Otherwise, he would definitely become a stumbling block to the no demon cult's domination of the world in the future. You should be proud that my no demon cult mobilized so many forces to target you and set up a plan. Generally speaking, even a 9th rank saint might not be valued so much by the no demon cult. After all, the no demon cult was a superpower left from the ancient times, and had been hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to take control of the Godsfall battlefield. H. All those from the no demon cult deserve to die. Fang Chen said coldly. He didn't have any good impression of the no demon cult. Moreover, from the ancient records, he had read that the no demon cult's evil methods were beyond redemption. They were basically like street rats that everyone had the right to kill. Now that the chaos battlefield had disappeared and the top giants were trapped and unable to return, the no demon cult began to stir again. However, Fang Chen did not expect that there would be people from the no demon cult infiltrating the Dao Palace. Looks like the no fiend cult scheme towards the Godsfall battlefield was not just a day or two. Humph, if it weren't for the black and white elders, you would have been dead long ago in the Dao Palace. Xu Yang sneered. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you have great potential? Boom. Xu Yang stomped his foot and levitated into the air. His body exuded a monstrous demonic aura. In order to kill Fang Chen, he had no choice but to use his demonic bloodline. Let's end this quickly. Xu Yang slammed his palm towards Fang Chen, shattering the void and causing the devil-slaying array to tremble. Devil-slaying power. Fang Chen growled, forming a seal with both hands. He constantly controlled the devil-slaying array, using the devil-slaying power to suppress Xu Yang. Devil-slaying array? What a joke. Xu Yang's figure flashed, constantly shuttling through every node of the devil-slaying array. Every time he moved, a violent demonic aura would surge out. Crack. The nodes of the devil-slaying array were constantly being destroyed. When Xu Yang appeared in front of Fang Chen again, the nodes of the devil-slaying array had completely shattered, followed by the array base. Boom. Fang Chen sensed that something was wrong. His figure flashed and retreated far away. At this time, the devil-slaying array exploded. Xu Yang looked down at Fang Chen from above, sneering. As the saying goes, the devil-slaying array is 10. My no demon cult represents the strongest demon in the world. You want to suppress me with a mere devil-slaying array? Fang Chen shook his head. Obviously, he had underestimated the power of the no demon bloodline. With the support of the no demon bloodline, Xu Yang's strength is at least at the level of a 9th level saint. It will be difficult to kill him. Fang Chen muttered to himself. The devil-slaying array of Huokong Saint was said to be able to kill all demons in the world. However, his level was still too low, so he could not unleash the full power of the devil-slaying array. Therefore, it was destroyed by Xu Yang. However, facing such a powerful Xu Yang, Fang Chen was not worried. Instead, he was full of fighting spirit. After he comprehended the origin of fire, he had not fought with all his might. Now, Xu Yang might be able to force out his greatest potential. Let me see just how strong the so-called demonic bloodline is. The perfect bloodline in Fang Chen's body was running wildly. A blood-red light covered his body, forming a bloodline armor. At the same time, Fang Chen performed a series of sword techniques. Invincible sword technique, chaos sword technique, and so on. Sword light flashed, crisscrossed, and cut the world into countless pieces. Xu Yang controlled the no-demon bloodline, and his strength skyrocketed. Every time he punched out, he would shatter a sword light. Ha ha ha, it's useless. My no-demon bloodline is the nemesis of your so-called righteous sects. The no-demon bloodline skyrocketed, and a terrifying aura kept approaching Fang Chen, suppressing him. So strong. Fang Chen closed his eyes and sensed the no-demon bloodline. After a short fight, he had realized that it was difficult to compete with Xu Yang with the chaos sword technique alone. Even with two origins, it can't fight against the no-demon bloodline. Fang Chen said to himself, unless, as his voice fell, Fang Chen spread out his palms, and the two origins came out. A golden storm surrounded his body, and a sea of fire shrouded the world. The two different origins burst out with unprecedented power. Very well. Let me see exactly how powerful my strongest attack is. At this time, the hidden star sword in Fang Chen's hand suddenly trembled, and the golden storm suddenly began to become violent, constantly drilling into the hidden star sword. His sword crossed the sky, as if it had existed for a long time, and the momentum was magnificent, as if an ancient god had descended. Swoosh! A sword light that seemed to split the world fell from the sky. Heaven-slashing alchemy technique. This was the secret technique that Fang Chen obtained from the altar in the North Sea. So far, he had not been able to fully comprehend it. However, he knew that this secret technique was by no means simple, and it may be related to the battle of the ancient gods. Boom! Boom! When the heaven-slashing alchemy technique was performed, the whole world was like purgatory. The perfect bloodline also completely suppressed the no-demon bloodline in a domineering way. It's useless. No, what bloodline is this? Xu Yang was about to speak when he felt his heart palpitate. The no-demon bloodline was suppressed and could not be activated. He felt the danger and was shocked. Chapter 3590. Heaven-slashing alchemy technique. It came from the mysterious altar in the North Sea. At that time, it was invaded by powerhouses from the God's Fall battlefield. Fang Chen wanted to solve the problem, so he went deep into the North Sea and saw the altar and the dazzling array of offerings on it. He even got one of the copper bowls. Fang Chen had always suspected the identity of the mysterious powerhouse. As his cultivation improved and his understanding of the origin, he felt that the heaven-slashing alchemy technique was too powerful. It was so powerful that the secret techniques of the Tao Palace couldn't compare. This was also his trump card, his strongest trump card, and the source of his sword Tao. The reason why he had the courage to fight against a peak 8th rank saint was because of this trump card. Swoosh! The sword light that broke through the sky traversed space and time as if it was surging over from the long river of history. Everywhere it passed, thunder rumbled, space collapsed, and its imposing aura was like a rainbow. Xu Yang swore that since he cultivated for thousands of years, he had never encountered such a powerful sword intent. It was too powerful. Facing this sword intent, he didn't even have the courage to attack. How is this possible? He panicked and wanted to dodge, but the no-demon bloodline was completely suppressed. He trembled and couldn't use it at all. Fear rose in his heart. He had once sensed this kind of aura in the no-demon cult. Could it be? A terrifying thought flashed in Xu Yang's mind. Other than the reincarnation of an ancient powerhouse, who else could erupt with such shocking power at such a young age and realm? He didn't lose his composure like this when facing an invincible saint. Run. He didn't even think about it. He dragged his heavy body and tore through the void, wanting to escape. Where there's life, there's hope. If he lost his life, then everything would be for nothing. Rip. In the blink of an eye, Fang Chen slashed down with the hidden star sword. Xu Yang couldn't dodge. The sword intent locked onto him and he had nowhere to run. Kill. Fang Chen roared and pressed his palm down. The shocking sword light swooped down and slashed directly on Xu Yang's body. Crack. Like cutting through glass, Xu Yang couldn't resist at all. The no-demon bloodline instantly evaporated and was swallowed by the perfect bloodline. Without the no-demon bloodline, Xu Yang's strength was greatly reduced. His body was cut into pieces and his internal organs were completely crushed. At the same time, he felt a terrifying power spread out from the sword light and drilled into his mind, eroding his primordial spirit. He widened his eyes and roared crazily. But it was too late. The heaven-slaying alchemy technique was too powerful and didn't give him any chance to breathe. His primordial spirit. No, I can't accept it. Within the chaotic aura, Xu Yang's unwillingness reverberated. Dust flew up and blood spewed out. Xu Yang's body was annihilated along with the sword light. It was as if the entire world had undergone a baptism. The origin energy in the air was completely incinerated. It is. Sword slaying sword technique was primordial spirit was sword primordial sword was technique was sword primordial heaven. The heaven-slashing alchemy technique was not just a sword technique. It involved the power of space, time, origin, chaos, and so on. It could corrode a cultivator's primordial spirit and cause them to die completely. Buzz. After a long time, the void gradually calmed down. Fang Chen glanced at Xu Yang, who had turned into a bloody mist. Xu Yang's Sumeru ring was also annihilated. The commotion just now was too big. I will definitely be discovered. Fang Chen put away the star-hidden sword and disappeared into the sky. Whoosh. Whoosh. Not long after he left, many elders in the myriad Dao world rushed over. What's going on? An elder asked. There was a great battle here. Judging from the traces on the scene, one of them should be a sword Dao expert. Many elders were shocked after seeing the scene. The sword chi lingering in the air made even their hearts palpitate. They were curious. In this world, other than that big shot from the Sword Saint Mountain, who else could unleash such a powerful pressure of the sword Dao? Such a strong sword intent shows that this person's attainments in sword Dao are extremely high. The sword Dao he used is also the best sword Dao. The elders looked at each other, their faces full of astonishment. They guessed that it was a reclusive sword Dao expert who was fighting. The god-perishing battlefield is not peaceful. It is very likely that doomsday will come. Many reclusive old monsters have come out. We should be more careful. This place is very close to the myriad Dao world. Is the other party targeting our Dao palace? The elders were deep in thought. At the same time, they were also carefully investigating the scene. As for Fang Chen, he had already left the myriad Dao world. A few days later, he entered the Kang nation. He flew in the air, looking down at the earth from above. He was filled with emotions. Back then, the Kang nation colluded with the no-demon cult and angered the heaven-defying alliance. They sent troops to destroy the Kang nation. The Kang nation's royal bloodline was cut off, and the Kang nation became a desolate place. Looking at it now, it was still desolate, but the heaven-defying alliance had taken over this area. Fang Chen clenched his fists. He could not wait to rescue the Sky Sword Peak Master. Phew. Fang Chen adjusted his emotions, took a deep breath, and then prepared to leave. At this moment, he saw a place in the Kang nation. Over there, a black-robed man was massacring a sect. Why? In a pool of blood, the last fallen elder of the sect roared unwillingly. Opposite him, the man in black looked at the sect that he had destroyed with his own hands with an evil smile on his face. Back then, you were subordinates of the Kang nation's royal family and were protected by the royal family. But at the critical moment, you betrayed the royal family and joined the heaven-defying alliance. You all deserve to die. You are. Hearing this, the fallen elder's eyes widened and his body trembled. You are a surviving member of the royal family? Poochie. Before he could finish his words, the man in black killed him with a punch. This is just the beginning. No one can stop me from taking revenge. Fang Chen saw it clearly in mid-air. He was a little surprised. Back then, the Kang nation's royal bloodline was cut off. He did not expect someone to escape. Stubborn. You didn't realize how much pain the Kang nation's wrongs brought to the people. You still want to take revenge so cruelly. You deserve to die. Boom. Just as the man in black was about to leave, he felt a dazzling sword light in the sky swooping down. Not good. He screamed and quickly fled. Poochie. The sword light was too fast. It pierced through his body, and he fell to the ground with a bang. Who are you? The man in black was furious. Heaven-defying alliance, Fang Chen. As soon as his voice fell, Fang Chen swung his sword again. The man in black's face was ferocious as he fell into madness. The no-demon cult will not let you go. Soon, the no-demon cult will make a comeback. Even if you don't come, I will go find you. Blood dripped from the tip of the hidden star sword. Fang Chen held the sword and left. The grudge between him and the no-demon cult was too deep. Whether it was for public or private reasons, it was already irreconcilable. Chapter 3591. In the demonic sky fire domain, the two camps were still in a standoff. Although the top leaders of the Godsfall camp were trapped in the primal chaos battlefield and could not return, the young Marquis and the others did not dare to act rashly with the Lord of the Nether Ghost present. Moreover, since the Godsfall battlefield had existed for countless years, there had been many ancient great beings that had survived. They had hidden themselves and were recovering from their wounds. These old monsters that had hidden themselves from the world were also secretly watching. Once there was an apocalyptic crisis in the Godsfall battlefield, they would definitely appear at the first sign of it. In the fire essence mine. The little Marquis clenched his fists, and instantly, the fire essence ore was crushed into powder. A terrifying halo of light appeared around him, forming a powerful defense. His blood and chi churned. After absorbing the power of the fire essence mine, his understanding of the origin had deepened. Crash. He slowly opened his eyes and retracted his aura. At this moment, the only female servant quickly walked in and whispered a few words in the young Marquis's ear. Immediately, the young Marquis stood up. His face was solemn and there was some anger between his brows. Whoosh, whoosh. The young Marquis did not say anything and directly flew towards the depths of the fire essence mine. Soon, he arrived in front of the lava. He easily passed through the lava and appeared in the underground cave. Bang! He looked around for a moment, then suddenly punched the wall next to him. A terrifying power spread out, causing the entire Immortals cave to shake. Dust flew everywhere, and the servants behind him were shocked. Fire essence crystal. With the young Marquis's eyesight, he could see that there had been fire essence crystals here before. However, someone had taken them away before him. The fire essence mine is mine. No one can touch it. During this period, he had been very irritated. There had been no news of the fire source mine. Now that he found out that the fire essence crystals had been taken by someone else, how could he not be angry? Young Marquis, I suspect that the person who took the fire essence crystals and the person who obtained the fire source mine should be the same person. The armored servant said in a low voice. The young Marquis gradually calmed down and his expression became indifferent. He nodded lightly and did not listen to the armored servant. Waiting like this is not a solution. The young Marquis muttered. Is there still no news from the outside world? The servant informed him that there were many warriors who were willing to follow the young Marquis into battle. They were also doing their best to find the whereabouts of the fire source ore. According to our analysis, there is one person who is most likely to obtain the Inferno source, or the armored servant's expression flickered. Who? When he heard the two words source ore, the young Marquis suddenly turned around. An overwhelming aura swept through the underground cave as he stared at the armored servant. According to our understanding, the strongest force in the Sinner's Land is a sect called the Heaven-Defying Alliance. Its sect master is most likely a half-step chaotic supremacy. Hearing this, the young Duke's expression changed. When it came to the primal chaos supremes, even if they were only half-step supremes, they were still legendary existences. Even his father, Duke Xiaoyao, might not be a match for a half-step chaotic supremacy. The heaven-defying alliance takes in many disciples and has nurtured countless geniuses. Among them, the Holy Ji Palace is the best. Anyone who can join the Holy Ji Palace is basically the greatest genius in this world. The armored servant briefly introduced the Holy Ji Palace and finally mentioned Fang Chen. What? After hearing the armored servant's words, the young Marquis was stunned. He was a little shocked. He did not expect that there would be such a genius in the sinner's land. If what you've said is true, then this guy by the name of Fang Chen truly possesses enormous potential. The young Marquis said, as a rank 3, he defeated a rank 6 and even fought against a rank 7. Even I can't do that at the same level. Of course, at the same time, the young Marquis also carefully discovered that during the battle of the demonic fire domain, Fang Chen had a fierce battle in the Inferno Marrow mine. Then, he killed Bull Demon and the others outside the mine. This meant that Fang Chen had entered the Inferno Marrow mine in advance. Could it be that he really got it? Regardless of whether the news was true or not, as long as there was a slight possibility, the young Marquis would not let it go. Give the sinners who want to follow me some benefits and let them secretly hunt down Fang Chen. The young Marquis ordered, remember, I want them alive. Yes. Fang Chen also knew about the situation in the demonic fire domain. With his current strength, it was difficult for him to intervene. Moreover, with the Black and White Elders, the Godsfall battlefield would not be defeated. There was not much time left for him. Since the young Marquis and the others knew about the existence of the Inferno Source mine, they must have great means. Perhaps they would find him one day. This was a potential enemy, so the most important thing was to improve his strength. In this trip to the No Demon cult's lair, other than rescuing the Skysword Peak Master, the Black and White Elders meant to train himself. Whoosh! After sorting out the thoughts in his mind, Fang Chen took a deep breath and raised his head. As the breeze blew, he felt a trace of coolness. Now, if I use my trump card, I can fight against a rank 9 saint. But this is far from enough. Fang Chen felt a sense of urgency. A warrior who could really influence the situation in the demonic fire domain was at least a peak rank 9 saint or even an invincible saint. He was still a long way from this step. However, he had enough confidence. My bloodline has evolved to the perfect level, and the Chaos Sword body has reached the inborn level. My body's condition has reached the peak, and my primordial spirit has completely formed the core. It will be the next step to form the nascent soul. Fang Chen muttered to himself, with 2 origins, I still have a lot of room for improvement. Half a month later, Fang Chen came to a mysterious place. It was extremely desolate. To the outside world, this was a forbidden place for humans. Ordinary warriors would not dare to get close, let alone enter. However, the purpose of Fang Chen's trip was to this place. Looking at the demonic mountain range in front, Fang Chen stopped and looked into the distance. The No Demon cult's lair is here. From the information he got from the Black and White Elders, the No Demon cult's lair was here. However, the No Demon cult was able to hide for countless years without being discovered. They must have some tricks up their sleeves. Let's search slowly. We will find some clues eventually. Fang Chen muttered to himself and plunged into the demonic mountain range. In a dark space, there was a sword tomb. Inside the sword tomb, there were broken dark swords everywhere. The owners of these broken swords were all evil when they were alive. After they died, their resentment merged into the broken swords and formed the so-called Dark Sword Tomb. A figure stood in the Dark Sword Tomb. His body was pierced by the broken dark swords from time to time. He endured the pain and did not make a sound. However, his face was completely hideous. Bang! Finally, under the repeated attacks, he could not hold on and knelt on the ground with one knee. His vitality was fading. Skysword Peak Master. Chapter 3592. In the demonic strange mountain range, Fang Chen felt the gloomy power as soon as he entered. This power could corrode a martial artist's primordial spirit. If one stayed here for a long time, even a saint would not feel good. No wonder no one is willing to come here. Fang Chen sighed. At the same time, he was more convinced that the headquarters of the No Demon cult should be here. The no-demon cult was an evil demon Tao force. The martial artists of this sect practiced extremely evil cultivation methods, so the most suitable place for them to practice was a place with strong gloomy power. Everything here was very consistent with the no-demon cult. According to the information given by the Black and White Elders, the no-demon cult master seemed to have also entered the chaos battlefield. In this case, there were no top giants in the no-demon cult. As long as he did not encounter an invincible saint, Fang Chen could still handle it. Although his current comprehensive combat strength was at most comparable to an early 9th rank saint, he was really fearless in terms of escaping ability. He could take advantage of this opportunity to test his combat strength. Buzz. The perfect bloodline in his body felt the gloomy and terrifying aura and began to become restless. With a boom, the perfect bloodline erupted from Fang Chen's body. It circled around Fang Chen and incinerated the evil energy that approached him. Fang Chen could clearly see that the evil power in the void seemed to be afraid of the perfect bloodline and kept dissipating. Without the obstruction of the evil power, Fang Chen's progress became much easier. Suddenly, he heard a beast roar. Then, he leaped and in a few strides, found the source of the sound. This is. Fang Chen's pupils shrank when he saw a shocking scene. In the dense forest ahead, there were many demonic beasts. These demonic beasts were very different from ordinary demonic beasts. Their bodies were full of the terrifying power of reincarnation. Moreover, the most shocking thing was that they were carrying a very rare standard long saber. Reincarnation. Vaguely, Fang Chen heard such a voice, as if it had crossed the river of time. The perfect bloodline in his body became more restless. Could it be that reincarnation really exists? Up to this point in his cultivation, Fang Chen had come into contact with the power of samsara, but that was only a superficial power. True samsara was something even mighty figures avoided, afraid of bringing trouble to themselves. It is said that after a saint dies, he will experience reincarnation and be reborn in the reincarnation, finally completing his transformation. Fang Chen whispered. Normally, after a warrior died, as long as his true spirit did not disperse, an almighty could reverse the situation and revive him. Of course, this kind of resurrection was not a true resurrection in the true sense. It was only to restrain his true spirit from the vast void, and then help him reconstruct his physical body and condense his flesh and blood. However, the 5 elements Saint Realm experts were different. They already stood at the peak of the world and possessed vast amounts of origin energy. Once they died, they would definitely enter the cycle of reincarnation. Only the path of reincarnation could withstand their powerful will after death. Reincarnation only existed in legends. It was said that there was a path of reincarnation between heaven and earth. Many powerful beings who had reached a bottleneck in their cultivation would choose to step onto the path of reincarnation to complete their transformation. Of course, the path of reincarnation was also extremely dangerous. The slightest carelessness would cause one's soul to disperse. Only 1 in 10,000 could truly be reborn through the path of reincarnation. The samsara knife. Fang Chen lost his composure, and his face suddenly changed. The demonic beasts in the dense forest had the samsara knife hanging on their bodies. What was going on? Are they the guardians of the path of reincarnation? Roar. While Fang Chen was in a daze, the demonic beasts stopped. The leader held the samsara knife and turned to Fang Chen with a ghostly smile, letting out a roar. Just when Fang Chen thought they were going to attack, the demonic beasts uniformly entered the depths of the dense forest. See you on the path of reincarnation. Such a shocking sentence came from the void. When he heard it, Fang Chen's body shook violently, and he immediately looked into the depths of the forest in disbelief. Gone. Under his eyelids, the demonic beasts disappeared. Only the aura of reincarnation in the void proved that it was not an illusion. See you on the path of reincarnation? Fang Chen pondered seriously. Was this sentence directed at me? Why did it say see you on the path of reincarnation? Could it see my future? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Fang Chen jumped and rushed into the depths of the forest. He wanted to catch up and investigate, but he did not find any clues even after turning the forest upside down. What's going on? Does the path of reincarnation really exist? Are they the reincarnators on the path of reincarnation or the guardians? In the battle of ancient gods, the peak experts were all killed, and the path of reincarnation changed drastically. Was that why the scene just now happened? While thinking, Fang Chen saw something out of the corner of his eye. He strode forward and came to a blue stone. A standard long saber lay quietly on it. It was the samsara knife that could only be found on the path of reincarnation. The long saber vaguely emitted a unique reincarnation power, which corroded the blue stone. Fang Chen was stunned. Did they forget about the samsara knife, or did they deliberately leave it here? Combining all the previous events, Fang Chen felt a little incredulous. Why did I happen to run into the guardians of the path of reincarnation as soon as I came in? After careful consideration, Fang Chen carefully picked up the samsara knife. As soon as the long saber was in his palm, it changed drastically. The reincarnation power crazily absorbed the perfect bloodline in his body. In the blink of an eye, the perfect blood completely submerged the samsara knife. Buzz! After absorbing enough perfect blood, the dim samsara knife became lustrous again. Fang Chen looked at the samsara knife and waved it gently. Suddenly, the void was torn and a space storm appeared. It's so powerful! Fang Chen exclaimed. The samsara knife could corrode the void. Even if a sage was hit, he would be seriously injured if he didn't die. Fang Chen suspected that the meat on the path of reincarnation mentioned by the leader of the demonic beasts might have something to do with the perfect bloodline, and this samsara knife might also have something to do with it. Anyway, the samsara knife is stronger than the origin holy weapon. It can be regarded as a trump card. Fang Chen tried to calm down and put away the samsara knife. After this incident, he felt more and more that the path of reincarnation might really exist. Maybe it was in the demonic mountains. Why is the nest of the no-demon cult here? They have been hiding for countless years. Even the heaven-defying alliance can't detect them. Why? Fang Chen thought of a possibility. The no-demon cult was very likely to be exploring the path of reincarnation, or they had found it and were secretly plotting a shocking plan. Phew. Thinking of this, Fang Chen trembled. If his guess was true, then the no-demon cult was far more terrifying than he had imagined. After calming down a little, Fang Chen quickly left this troublesome place. Chapter 3593. In the demonic mountains, Fang Chen was still aimlessly looking for the no-demon cult's lair. Buzz! Wherever he went, there would be a trace of perfect bloodline left in the void. These bloodlines continued to spread, helping him to sense the place with the densest evil power. Just like that, a month passed without him noticing. During this time, Fang Chen didn't find any clues about the no-demon cult, but he made a shocking discovery. He found traces of the Blood Emperor in the demonic mountains. On this day, he stood in front of a mountain peak, looking at the blood-red token in his palm shining with soft light. He was a little stunned. This token was obtained by the Jiyu family in the primordial chaos. He had kept it with him for so long that he had forgotten about it. He didn't expect to find the Blood Emperor's relics here. The Blood Emperor has been here. Fang Chen frowned, puzzled. After he reached the completion of the Yin-Yang origin realm, he had obtained some key information from the Blood Emperor's token. He knew that the Blood Emperor's strength hadn't reached the 5-element Saint realm. Without entering the Saint realm, it was almost impossible to reach this dangerous place with one's own strength. He was puzzled and curious at the same time. Fang Chen's powerful divine consciousness sensed a strange aura approaching not far away. Soon, he found that there were two people looking for something on the other side of the mountain. Moju, are you sure that guy is here? The man with sword-like eyebrows asked irritably. The other person called Moju said in a deep voice, "How can a guy in the Yin-Yang origin realm come here? It's because of that thing. I also inadvertently obtained a secret. Back then, that guy was just a nobody, but because he obtained that item, his reputation shook greatly. After that, he disappeared without a trace, and the people of the world were very puzzled." Moju's eyes flickered. He had borrowed the psychic mirror from the sect to look for that thing. If he could find it, it would be a great achievement. Alas, even if we really find it, it's not our turn. The man with sword-like eyebrows shook his head. That thing was very important and was very attractive to saints. They were not qualified to get it. Mo Ju didn't say anything. He was secretly calculating in his heart. Fang Chen heard their conversation. He frowned and pondered. From Mo Ju's words, Fang Chen could feel that the yin-yang origin realm guy they were talking about was Blood Emperor. Is it Blood Emperor? Fang Chen muttered to himself. If it was the Blood Emperor, then it matched the information that he had. What are they looking for? The Blood Emperor brought that thing here? If that's the case, everything makes sense. Fang Chen's eyes lit up. He disappeared into the void and stared at the two of them in secret. 2 9th-level saints. Fang Chen was thinking, if the two of them really found that thing, how should he snatch it? Although his strength had increased greatly, he still did not have the confidence to face 2 9th-order sages. Finally, he steadied his mind. Wait for an opportunity. Mo Ju and the man with sword-like eyebrows searched for a long time on the mountainside. Suddenly, they triggered some kind of mechanism. Immediately after, a void door appeared. The two men looked at each other and wanted to enter it. Bang! The void door blocked them. The man with sword-like eyebrows said angrily, "Damn it, there's a restriction." On the other hand, Mo Ju's eyes lit up. He was increasingly convinced that the item was here because he could feel a palpitating aura coming from the restrictive spell. Think of a way to break the restriction, Mo Ju said. In secret, Fang Chen used his powerful primordial spirit to conceal his aura. The two men did not notice him at all. The Blood Emperor's token started to vibrate. It was unusually restless. Fang Chen was shocked. He stared at the void gate on the mountainside. Does it need the Blood Emperor's token to open it? Fang Chen thought quickly. Once he made a move, he had to kill at least one of them. The remaining one would be easy to deal with. Moreover, he had to consider all factors. After all, this was the territory of the Sans demon cult. Once he made a move, he would be killed. Set up the Demon Slayer formation and trap the two of them. Then, use the heaven-slaying alchemy to kill one of them. Fang Chen had a detailed battle plan in his mind. Although there were risks, he had to give it a try. Boom! Just as Mo Ju and the man with sword-like eyebrows were sent flying, the world suddenly changed. The power of the Demon Slayer formation swept through the void. The next moment, the formation base gathered in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the Demon Slayer formation was set up. Who is it? Mo Ju steadied himself and said coldly. Swoosh. The dazzling sword light carried a sharp golden sword chi as it descended from the sky. At the same time, the origin of gold and the origin of fire appeared and merged into the sword light, causing its power to increase exponentially. It struck the man with sword-like eyebrows at lightning speed. You're courting death. Mo Ju was furious and ready to attack. At this time, the perfect bloodline arrived in front of Mo Ju and suppressed his bloodline. Mo Ju felt that his bloodline was completely suppressed and he could not move. His strength was also affected. His body swayed and he felt a throbbing from the depths of his primordial spirit. Poochie. The heaven-cleaving alchemy was too powerful. Fang Chen did not give the man with sword-like eyebrows any chance to breathe. The sword pierced through his body and killed him instantly. When Mo Ju came to his senses, the man with sword-like eyebrows was already dead. Who are you? Mo Ju went crazy, but it was too late. Fang Chen raised his sword again and fought with him. Rumble. A fierce battle broke out in the Demon Slayer formation. In the end, Fang Chen severely injured Mo Ju and suppressed him. How dare you kill my people here? You're dead. Mo Ju said angrily. Crack. Fang Chen pressed his hand down and Mo Ju's bones cracked. He grimaced and almost fainted. What's behind the void gate? Fang Chen asked. Mo Ju was angry but did not say anything. Fang Chen came in front of Mo Ju with his sword and cut off his arm. Blood spurted out and Mo Ju screamed in pain. Unfortunately, his power was sealed and he could not fight. Crack. Seeing that he did not reply, Fang Chen continued to attack and cleanly cut off his other arm. Make a guess, where do you think I'll stab next? There was a chance only if he was alive. Once he died, everything would be for naught. Moreover, The people of the Demon Slayer sect had a demon heart. They would do anything to survive. Soon, Moju bowed his head. A little guy called Shue Di came here before. We want to go in and have a look. Sure enough, Fang Chen's guess was right. How did a yin-yang origin realm come here? Fang Chen asked. Moju knew that their conversation was most likely heard by Fang Chen. There was no point in hiding it, so he told him everything. Fusion source fragment. Moju said, he came here with the fragment. Chapter 3594. Moju panted, his forehead full of sweat. The Demon Slayer power invaded his body, corroding his flesh and blood, and completely suppressing his demon-free bloodline. He felt extremely uncomfortable, and his heart palpitated from the depths of his primordial spirit. His only goal now was to preserve his life. As long as he was alive, there was hope. As long as he could escape from the clutches of this devil, everything would be fine. Seeing Fang Chen's hesitation, Moju thought that he did not believe him, and hurriedly said, "You should know very well that the yin-yang primordial realm can't enter this dangerous place. They can't resist the gloomy aura in the air. Only the fusion source fragment can let him come here safely." While speaking, Moju watched Fang Chen's expression. "What's a fusion source fragment?" Fang Chen asked. Moju explained that in ancient times, there were peak experts who used heavenly means to fuse the origins into elixirs. This elixir was called the fusion source elixir. It could be understood from the literal meaning that this elixir could help martial artists fuse the origins. At the beginning of the world, 5 origins were born as the foundation to stabilize the space. If one could comprehend one of the origins, they could enter the 5 elements sacred realm. Many talented martial artists could comprehend different origins. The 5 origins were completely different. Under normal circumstances, it was basically impossible to fuse them. However, everything in the world existed for a reason. There were almighties who spent their entire lives to fuse 2 different origins, and their combat strength skyrocketed. After that, there were countless imitators, and fusing the origins gradually became a mainstream practice. Those who wanted to go further on the martial Dao would do everything they could to fuse the origins. The fusion source elixir was born at this time. Even in ancient times, when there were many experts, the value of the fusion source elixir was immeasurable. Even a half-step chaotic supremacy could not resist the attraction of the fusion source elixir, unless it was a true chaotic supremacy. With the fusion source elixir, it meant that at least 2 origins could be fused together. The power of the fusion of origins was unimaginable. After the Deity Fall War, the world changed greatly. There were no more chaotic supremacies in the world, and the fusion source elixir disappeared. Fang Chen stared at Moju in shock, his heart pounding. If what Moju said was true, then this was an incredible opportunity for him. After the Battle of God's Fall, the Rongyuan pill became extinct. No one could refine this kind of divine pill anymore. However, news of the Rongyuan fragment would spread in the world from time to time. Mino demon cult collected information for a long time and paid a great price to obtain this information, Moju continued. The upper echelons of the Sans demon cult attached great importance to the Rong source fragment. However, due to certain reasons, they could not find the exact location of the fragment. They could only speculate that it was in the demonic mountain range. For countless years, the no-demon cult had never given up. This time, Moju and the man with sword-shaped eyebrows had also received a task to conduct a routine search. They did not expect to run into Fang Chen. According to the information we received, this fusion source fragment should be the only one left on the God's Fall battlefield since the ancient times. Fang Chen's expression was grave. He increasingly felt that things were beyond his imagination. Rongyuan fragment. Fang Chen clenched his fists, his heart pounding. He had comprehended 2 origins and naturally knew how powerful they were. If he could obtain the Rongyuan fragment, he might be able to merge the 2 origins. By then, his combat strength would soar and he would be able to dominate the God's Fall battlefield. Phew! He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. He no longer thought about how the Blood Emperor obtained the Rongyuan fragment with his yin-yang origin realm cultivation. There was only one thought in his mind, and that was to obtain the Rongyuan fragment. He looked at Mo Ju. The latter shrunk his neck and said, "I have already told you such important information. Shouldn't you let me go?" Buzz. Fang Chen waved his hand and Immortal Cave Mountain appeared and suppressed Mo Ju. Mo Ju was furious, but he could not struggle. Fang Chen still had a use for Mo Ju. He did not know what was behind the Void Gate and did not know anything about the Rongyuan fragment. He still needed Mo Ju for many things. Whoosh. With a thought, a mirror appeared in Fang Chen's hand. Give me back my psychic mirror." Mo Ju's angry roar came from Immortal Cave Mountain. An origin sacred weapon? Fang Chen played with the psychic mirror and was surprised. He had seen the power of this bronze mirror before. He held the psychic mirror in his hand and came to the Void Gate. The Blood Emperor's token shook and shone with a strange light. It merged with the Void Gate in an instant. Then, a blood-red aura shrouded Fang Chen and drowned him. It was dark and filled with a corrosive aura. The sun could not be seen here all year round. Countless bones were piled up on the ground, emitting a rotten smell. Rip. In the void, a figure suddenly appeared. There was a terrifying scar on his forehead. The moment he opened his eyes, the world became dark without any light. "Is there still no news from Mo Ju?" The person's voice was hoarse, but it contained great power. "Lord Protector, there is still no news." A few disciples walked out from the dark and answered respectfully. The No Demon cult attached great importance to the fusion source fragment. However, they had spent so much effort over the years and still could not find it. Therefore, every once in a while, they would send people to patrol. This time, it was Mo Ju and the man with sword-like eyebrows' turn. They had been out for more than 10 days and still had not returned. Recently, the god-perishing battlefield has not been peaceful. The Demon Skyfire region is full of war. Send some people out to see what is going on. In the dark, the Protector said gloomily. The disciples nodded and were about to leave when the Protector spoke again. "How is the situation in the Demon Skyfire region?" "Has the messenger replied?" The No Demon cult had sent a messenger to the Demon Skyfire region to meet with the young Marquis and the others. They wanted to cooperate and plan something big. "Lord Protector, the messenger has arrived at the Demon Skyfire region and met with the young Marquis, but, speak." The Protector's tone was cold. The disciple who spoke earlier was frightened. The young Marquis said that if we want to cooperate with him, we must show sincerity. Moreover, he does not think that the No Demon cult is qualified to cooperate with him. "Oh!" The Protector sneered. "Tell the messenger to tell the young Marquis that the No Demon cult has shown sincerity. Whether we are qualified or not, he will know soon." After that, the Protector disappeared into the darkness, leaving the disciples looking at each other in dismay. The No Demon cult had been silent for countless years. Recently, they were ready to make a move. Even they had a feeling that a storm was coming. It's really going to change. Perhaps the nightmare of the gods will come again. The heaven-defying alliance thinks of themselves as the leader of the god-perishing battlefield. The No Demon cult only has a chance in troubled times. If the god-perishing battle comes again, we will benefit the most. Chapter 3595. Demonic Mountain Range, Behind the Void Door. The Blood Emperor's token flashed, and a blood-red light illuminated the entire cave dwelling. Fang Chen saw an independent space that was surrounded by seals. It seemed like the Blood Emperor had cultivated here before. Fang Chen held the Blood Emperor's token and looked around. After confirming that there was no danger, he let out a sigh of relief. Then, he noticed that there was a futon in front of him. Under the futon, there were some words engraved on it. This is... Fang Chen was a little confused. Judging from the writing, it seemed to be an ancient language. He could not understand it. Whoosh. He threw Mo Ju out of Dark Cave Mountain and asked him to translate. "Do you know the ancient language?" Dark Cave Mountain was an independent space, and Fang Chen was the ruler. With just a thought, Mo Ju would be tortured to death. In just a short period of time, he had already been tortured to the point of wanting to die. Now, after coming out of Dark Cave Mountain, he was a little excited. After hearing Fang Chen's words, he hurried to the futon. Is this the place where the owner of the Rong Yuan fragment came? He lowered his head and looked at the complicated words. At first, his expression was still normal, but soon, his scalp went numb and his body trembled. What's going on? Fang Chen asked as he came forward. Mo Ju's heart was filled with fear. There's danger. We're in great danger. Seeing Mo Ju in such a panic, Fang Chen was even more curious and asked him what the ancient language meant. Mo Ju took a long time to calm down. He told him that the words were indeed ancient language left behind by a guy called the Blood Emperor. As expected. Fang Chen nodded. The Blood Emperor was the lucky person who obtained the Rong Yuan fragment. What? However, when he learned that the Blood Emperor was the descendant of an ancient expert, he was also shocked. The descendant of the Blood God clan? And it's the purest bloodline? I've seen records of the Blood God clan in the ancient books of the No Demon cult. This clan is too strong. Even in the ancient times when there were many experts, they were still one of the most powerful clans. They had almost unified this world. The top giants of the clan had even touched the threshold of the primal chaos. Taking a deep breath, Mo Ju continued, back then, there were rumors that the Blood God clan's supreme elder had already become a primal chaos supremacy. Fang Chen's heart trembled. Was the Blood God tribe so powerful? Now I finally understand why the Blood Emperor was able to obtain the fusion source fragment when he was only at the yin-yang origin realm. The rumors in the world are simply a joke. Mo Ju shook his head and sighed. Rumor had it that the Blood Emperor had gotten the fusion source fragment by chance. However, after knowing the Blood Emperor's identity, Mo Ju refused to believe the rumor. What kind of joke was this? According to the ancient characters at the bottom of the cattail hassock, the Blood Emperor was a descendant of the Blood God tribe. Moreover, he possessed the strongest bloodline of the Blood God tribe. He had already reached the stage of atavism. Why are the characters here blocked? Fang Chen woke up from his shock and pointed at the last line of the characters. It was blocked by fog, as if it had been erased by time. Fang Chen tried everything, but he could not restore it. Don't move. Mo Ju screamed. How can you resist the means of a supremacy? Means of a supremacy? Fang Chen took a few steps back and widened his eyes. Then, Mo Ju's voice trembled. I don't know much about ancient characters, but I can basically translate these characters. These are some of the cultivation stories that the Blood Emperor left behind before he died. The last few lines are an introduction to his identity and the ancient Blood God tribe. After pausing for a moment, Mo Ju continued, in front of the blocked characters, the Blood Emperor mentioned the supreme elder of the tribe. After that, the characters were blocked. I strongly suspect that this is related to the primal chaos supremacy. Therefore, the Great Path manifestation covered it up. The primal chaos supremacy was a legendary existence. His words were law, and he could influence the past and the future. If it was the means of a supremacy, then it was not surprising. The supremacy is a taboo. No one can talk about it casually, not even his descendants, Mo Ju said. He even suspected that the Blood Emperor was a direct descendant of the supreme elder of the Blood God tribe. Thinking of this, he was extremely shocked. Back then, the Battle of Gods was called the Battle of Extinction. Almost all the top experts participated in the battle, and it was said that the primal chaos supremacy was behind it. The tragic situation of the battle made people pale. The supreme elder of the Blood God tribe? Fang Chen's heart palpitated. If he really became a supremacy, was he still alive in this world? Anything related to a supremacy is a taboo. Don't make wild guesses, or you will be in trouble, Mo Ju reminded. Fang Chen came back to his senses and asked Mo Ju to continue translating to see if the Rong source fragment was still here. Soon, Mo Ju completely translated the ancient text. Only the last part was blocked and could not be translated. However, it did not stop Fang Chen from looking for the Rong source fragment. The Rong source fragment is here. The Blood Emperor brought it here to find the traces of the ancient Blood God tribe. Unfortunately, his realm was too low and he eventually fell here. Mo Ju said. What's here? Could it be that the Blood God clan has survived and is hiding in some secret place? Fang Chen released his powerful divine sense. No matter how hard he searched, he could not find any clues about the Blood God tribe. In the end, he could only give up. This place is too strange. Let's leave quickly. Mo Ju was a little guilty. When he was translating the text, he accidentally touched the blocked text. He was afraid that he would be entangled with a supremacy. Not long after, Fang Chen found the wrong source fragment according to the information left by the Blood Emperor. In his palm, there was a fragment the size of a thumb. It emitted a faint fragrance. There was nothing special about it. If he did not know that it was the legendary wrong source fragment, Fang Chen would have thought that it was an ordinary pill fragment. Is this the wrong source fragment? Fang Chen held it in his hand and felt a strange power invading his body. The two types of origin force circulated crazily and surrounded the strange power. The repulsive force weakened. This, Fang Chen was shocked. Although he already knew the effects of the wrong source pill and the wrong source fragment, he was still shocked when he felt it for himself. I've really found a treasure. Fang Chen kept it and was secretly delighted. Mo Ju looked at the wrong source fragment and hesitated. Fang Chen looked at him. Mo Ju gritted his teeth and said, "My no demon cult has been eyeing the wrong source fragment for countless years. If you give it to us, you will definitely be protected by the no demon cult. If the battle of gods happens again in the future, the no demon cult will protect you." He, Fang Chen sneered. If the no demon cult dared to show up, they would definitely be surrounded by many top forces. Chapter 3596. Even in the golden age of the ancient times, the Rongyuan elixir would still be fought over by top experts. The value of the Rongyuan elixir was immeasurable. As long as one could obtain it, they would be able to completely merge the two origins. This was already at the threshold of becoming a supreme being, which was why people went crazy over it. As for the Rongyuan fragment, it was a fragment of the Rongyuan elixir. After the Battle of Gods, the top experts had all died in battle. No one could refine the Rongyuan elixir after that, so the Rongyuan elixir disappeared in the long river of history. It was no exaggeration to say that the importance of the Rongyuan fragment was enough to cause an earth-shattering battle in the Battle of Gods. Fang Chen looked at Mo Ju. The latter's voice carried a hint of threat. In Mo Ju's opinion, no matter how strong Fang Chen was, he couldn't be compared to the no demon cult. Now that he had the Rongyuan fragment, he would definitely be hunted down by the no demon cult. Therefore, he used this to threaten Fang Chen. He wanted the latter to obediently hand over the Rongyuan fragment and submit to the no demon cult. If the people outside know that you have the Rongyuan fragment, they will definitely go crazy. At that time, even the heaven-defying alliance won't be able to protect you. You will definitely die. Mo Ju didn't notice the change in Fang Chen's expression and continued, "You should know that with your strength, you won't be able to keep the Rongyuan fragment. You might as well exchange it for existing resources." Buzz. However, just as Mo Ju was speaking, he suddenly felt an eerie and terrifying aura behind him. Then, his body couldn't help but tremble. When he turned around, he was shocked to see Fang Chen's cold face right in front of him. His eyes were emitting an aura of death. Mo Ju took a few steps back and looked at Fang Chen in fear. "You! What are you trying to do?" He was a little scared and regretted what he had just said. After all, he had underestimated Fang Chen's means. "I'm really stupid." Fang Chen didn't hide his killing intent. Mo Ju was a little annoyed. He only cared about threatening Fang Chen with the Rongyuan fragment, but he had forgotten that it was a Rongyuan fragment that was enough to make any martialist take a risk. For example, the current Fang Chen definitely wanted to kill him to silence him. "You can't kill me." Mo Ju was a little anxious. "If I don't return soon, Lord Protector will definitely be alerted and send out powerful cultivators to search for me. When that happens, you'll be courting death." Fang Chen stepped forward and suppressed Mo Ju with his imposing manner. A ghostly smile appeared on his cold face. "You should know the value of a fusion source fragment better than I do. If the outside world knows that I have a fusion source fragment, it will bring me endless trouble." "So?" Mo Ju's expression changed. "Only the dead could keep secrets forever. You. Aren't you afraid of the no demon cult's revenge?" Moju panicked. No demon cult. Fang Chen chuckled. Even without the fusion source fragment incident, the no demon cult and I would never have been able to coexist. The hatred between us is irreconcilable. Back then, in the Kang Kingdom, the no demon cult secretly massacred the disciples of the heaven-defying alliance, and Fang Chen was almost killed. Later, in a rage, the Sky Sword Peak Master killed his way to the no demon cult's lair and had yet to return. With the new and old grudges added together, how could he let it go? Boom. The fear in Moju's eyes gradually turned into anger. He roared angrily and wanted to escape, but the power in his body had already been sealed by Fang Chen, so there was no way he could escape from Fang Chen's palm. With a slap, a terrifying force vibrated and flames burned, turning Moju into ashes that drifted away with the wind. After killing Moju, Fang Chen did not dare to stay here any longer. He bowed deeply to the futon and was about to leave. However, at this moment, a dazzling light came from the last line of words that were blocked. Fang Chen subconsciously reached out to grab it, but he failed to do so. The light penetrated his palm and entered his glabella. Dong, dong, dong. His mind trembled and his primordial spirit churned. It took him a long time to stabilize his body. At this moment, a melodious and ancient voice sounded in his mind. Blood. God. Clan. The voice was trembling and hoarse, as if it was pleading. Hiss. Fang Chen pondered. What did it mean? What was the Blood Emperor trying to say? Suddenly, he saw the light turn into a drop of blood in his mind. Layers of aura gradually spread out and was absorbed by the perfect bloodline. The true appearance of the drop of blood was gradually revealed, floating motionlessly near his primordial spirit. A large amount of information appeared in Fang Chen's mind, and he instantly felt relieved. Senior, don't worry. If I meet a descendant of the Blood God clan in the future, I will definitely return this drop of blood. If I have the strength, I will also help the Blood God clan. Fang Chen cupped his fists one last time and then quietly left. Boom. After he left, the futon was annihilated, and the words on the ground drifted away with the wind. The last line of words turned into a bloody light and rushed into the sky. The cave collapsed, and even the mountain began to shake and fall to the ground, causing a great commotion. However, all traces of the Blood Emperor and the Blood God clan had disappeared completely. Fang Chen found a place to rest. He was not in a hurry to find the nest of the no demon cult. He needed to digest the information he had received before. Looking at the drop of blood in his mind, Fang Chen was shocked. No matter how he looked, he could not feel any aura in the blood. It was as if it was the blood of an ordinary person. However, he knew how terrifying this blood was. This was the blood essence of the Blood God clan. It was the hope of the Blood God clan. Perhaps, only a descendant of the Blood God clan can activate this drop of blood. Fang Chen said to himself. He felt that the perfect bloodline was very interested in the blood of the Blood God clan. It was constantly absorbing the aura emitted by it. Not long after, Fang Chen felt the change of the perfect bloodline. Huh! Fang Chen exclaimed. After the perfect bloodline absorbed the aura of the Blood God clan's blood, there was a slight change. The perfect bloodline was the strongest bloodline in the world. It could evolve all bloodlines in the world. He began to try to evolve the bloodline of the Blood God clan. After a while, he wiped the sweat from his forehead and announced that he had failed. In the end, he concluded that the bloodline of the Blood God clan belonged to the highest level of bloodline. At this stage, he could not exert the full power of the perfect bloodline. At the same time, near the collapsed mountain, the people of the no demon cult came. After a careful inspection, they confirmed that the aura of Moju and the man with sword-like eyebrows were here. Their faces were very gloomy. Both of them are dead. What about the psychic mirror? The man who spoke before shook his head. There was a battle here, and Moju and the man with sword-like eyebrows were killed by others. Then, the psychic mirror must have been taken by others. Is the collapse of this place related to what we are looking for? Hearing this, the others' faces suddenly changed. For the time being, they were not sure if the two things were related, but they were certain that someone was secretly killing the people of the no demon cult. Chapter 3597. Back in the primordial chaos, he had a grudge with the Jiyu clan because of his daughter, Fang Shi. The Jiyu family stubbornly clung to their own course. They believed that Fang Chen's potential was too great and wanted to completely eradicate him while he was still in the bud. Thus, they surrounded and annihilated him. This action completely infuriated Fang Chen and led to the destruction of the Jiyu family. The rise and fall of a clan were often separated by a single thought. After killing the Jiyu clan's ancestor, he had obtained some things, including the Blood Emperor's token. After Fang Chen entered the Godfall battlefield, he had almost forgotten about it. He did not expect to find something left behind by the Blood Emperor here. The fusion source fragment was a rare treasure that countless experts dreamed of. In this Dharma-ending age, the order of heaven and earth was incomplete and the rules were limited. There could no longer be a primordial chaos supreme. This made the fusion source fragment even more precious. Although Fang Chen tried to control his emotions, he was still very agitated. However, he knew that now was not the best time to refine the fusion source fragment. He remembered what Mo Ju said before he died. For countless years, the no-demon cult had been eyeing the fusion source fragment. Now that he had gotten it first, they would definitely be furious. They would soon discover Mo Ju's death. Perhaps they had already discovered it. Once they knew that he had obtained the fusion source fragment, they would definitely search for him. The purpose of his trip was to rescue the Sky Sword Peak Master. If that happened, it would definitely be more difficult for him. Whoosh! Fang Chen took a deep breath and adjusted his state. He put away the fusion source fragment and withdrew his consciousness from his mind. The perfect bloodline flowed in his body and the blood essence of the Blood God clan floated quietly. Soon, he reached his peak state and decided to take the initiative to search for the no-demon cult's lair. There's a cave over there. Let's go take a look. There was a commotion outside. Fang Chen listened carefully and knew that the no-demon cult had come. He shook his head. He did not expect the no-demon cult to come so quickly. They should not have discovered me yet. Fang Chen calmed down and analyzed the current situation. He quickly made a decision. The no-demon cult must have known that Mo Ju was dead and came out to search for him. The collapse of the mountain must have attracted their attention. Perhaps they did not know that he had obtained the fusion source fragment. In fact, Fang Chen's guess was correct. When the people of the no-demon cult discovered that the mountain had collapsed, they immediately reported the situation. When the protector heard about it, he was furious. He secretly went to the ruins of the collapsed mountain and carefully sensed the surroundings. However, he did not find any trace of the Rong Yuan fragment. After that, he gave the order to seal off the bewitching mountain range. Even if they had to dig 3 feet into the ground, they had to find the culprit who had killed Mo Ju and Mo Yu. Although the members of the no-demon sect had spread out to search for Fang Chen, they did not know that this matter involved the Rong source fragment. After all, not many people were qualified to know about the Rong source fragment. Fang Chen's eyes flickered when he heard the voice from outside the cave. Then, he quickly concealed himself and entered the void to secretly check his surroundings. 5 people. Fang Chen saw the people from the no-demon cult approaching the cave he was in. There were a total of 5 people, and the leader was a 9th Order saint, while the other 4 were all at the peak of the 8th Order. They were a small team responsible for searching this area. Be careful. Since that person could kill Mo Ju, he must have the strength to fight against a 9th Order saint. Once we find him, we will join forces to encircle him, said the leader. Don't worry, big brother. With you and the 4 of us, once we set up a battle formation, he won't be able to escape unless he is an invincible saint. The others did not think much of it. This was their territory, and it was more than enough to deal with an outsider. As they spoke, the 5 of them had already arrived at the entrance of the cave. The blonde man took a step forward and directly went into the cave. He scanned the surroundings but did not find anything. Big brother, there is no one. The others followed in and confirmed that no one was going to leave. Boom. However, at this moment, the surrounding walls of the cave began to crumble. The terrifying demon slayer power swept out in an instant, and the entrance was directly sealed. The sudden change made the 5 people's faces change drastically. They felt the power of the formation and were very careful. Send the message quickly. The leader shouted and entered a state of battle. Poochie. In the Demon Slayer formation, a ghostly figure flashed. The members of the No Demon cult only saw a flash of light in front of their eyes. The next moment, they found their companions beside them clutching their necks and falling to the ground. Fourth brother. Someone shouted. When he looked down, he was instantly stunned. There was a small sword wound on fourth brother's neck, and blood was flowing out. Although the wound was small, fourth brother was already dead. Big brother. The other 3 finally felt afraid and looked at the leader. The latter's face was gloomy. He knew how terrifying the formation was after failing to send the message. Let's work together and break the formation. Not long after, the cave returned to peace. 5 corpses were lying on the ground with blood flowing out. The Demon Slayer formation had collapsed, and Fang Chen was long gone. Whoosh, whoosh. Someone heard the sound of the battle and rushed over. Was there a commotion here? One of the elders of the No Demon cult arrived. When he saw the 5 corpses, he was furious. He spread out his divine sense but did not find any clues. Damn it. He spread the news and the other search teams began to prepare for battle. However, this was just the beginning. Soon, there would be a bloody storm in the demonic mountain range. Fang Chen was like a hunter, hiding in the dark and beginning to hunt. In the dark space, outside the Dark Sword Mound, the Protector stood with his hands behind his back, staring at the Dark Sword Mound and the Sky Sword Peak Master who was in a sorry state. The latter could not fight against the Dark Sword Mound, but he would rather die than submit. Sky Sword Peak Master, you don't have much time left. The Protector's body was shrouded in black mist, and his voice was slightly hoarse and sinister. Poochie. One of the Sky Sword Peak Master's legs was pierced by the dark sword, and he fell to the ground, struggling at death's door. He raised his head and looked at the void with his determined eyes. Tempage, you want me to do something heartless for you, black sheep? Dream on. The Sky Sword Peak Master said coldly. He would rather die than betray the world. The Protector shook his head. Why? If you die, the Heaven-defying Alliance will not be able to avenge you. Because of you, many of the Heaven-defying Alliance's disciples will die. The Protector pointed to the distant sky. Now, there are people from the Heaven-defying Alliance who have broken into the demonic mountain range. I guess they are here to save you. Unfortunately, you will never see it. Hearing this, the Sky Sword Peak Master's eyes turned red and he fell into madness. Kill me. He rushed into the array set up by the Dark Sword and attacked wildly without caring about anything else. What a stubborn person. If you were not useful, you would have died long ago. The Protector snorted, very displeased. If the No Demon cult wanted to shake the foundation of the Heaven-defying Alliance, they had to destroy it from the inside. They had sent some disciples to infiltrate the Heaven-defying Alliance, but they had not found anything after countless years. Chapter 3598. In the demonic strange mountain range, a figure was flying through the void. If he had not released his aura, he would not have been discovered. Over there. Sure enough, as soon as he released his aura, he was discovered by the people of the No Demon cult. A small team quickly caught up and surrounded him, staring at him coldly. This was already Fang Chen's 5th day as a hunter in the demonic strange mountain range. The number of No Demon cult members who had died in his hands was already numerous. Tempage, anyone who dares to go against the No Demon cult will be killed without mercy. The No Demon cult members did not say anything and immediately joined forces to encircle and kill Fang Chen. Rumble. A deafening sound resounded through the sky. Fang Chen executed the time-immemorial sword art and engaged in a chaotic battle with them. After a long while, looking at the corpses lying on the ground, Fang Chen disappeared into the darkness. After a long time, Fang Chen appeared in front of a mountain stream. There was a waterfall flowing down from the cliff and the surroundings were lush with towering trees. He spread out his consciousness and checked the surroundings. After finding no danger, he sat down on the bluestone. Fang Chen's primordial spirit had undergone several transformations and had reached the peak of the Golden Core realm. He was only one step away from the nascent soul realm. Looking into his mind, his golden core realm primordial spirit stood quietly. Beside it, a drop of red blood floated. This was the blood essence of the blood god clan. My primordial spirit has reached a bottleneck. It will be difficult to break through in a short time. Fang Chen sighed. The cultivation of the soul Dao was much more difficult than the cultivation of the martial Dao. Especially the later stages, the harder it was to improve. Across the entire Godsfall battlefield, there were very few who could reach the primordial spirit transformation realm. There were probably less than 10 of them. If his current attainments in the soul Dao were to spread, it would definitely cause a commotion. His primordial spirit was far superior to most saints at the 5th level of Holy Emperor cultivation. It was even comparable to an invincible saint. This was not something an ordinary person could do. The Chaos Sword art is gradually falling short of my desire. Fang Chen continued. In these few hunts, he could clearly feel that even if he displayed the 9th sword of the Chaos Sword art, he would not be able to cause large-scale damage to a 9th level saint. Unless both the metal and fire origins appeared at the same time. Fang Chen pondered for a moment. He knew that the road ahead would be difficult. Every step he took could create a miracle of his own. Therefore, he was very serious about planning his own path of cultivation. No matter how he thought about it, the heaven-severing alchemy technique was the only thing he could rely on. I wonder who is being worshipped on the altar in the Northern Sea. Fang Chen faintly guessed that the powerhouse on the altar was most likely the super powerhouse who created the ancient chaos. The evil powerhouse in the Demon Emperor's mausoleum had hidden his incarnation in the Demon Emperor's mausoleum for so long. Was it because he was afraid of the one in the North Sea? Whoosh. Fang Chen took a deep breath and sorted out his thoughts. Now, the world changed greatly. The primal chaos battlefield disappeared. The peak giants were trapped, unable to return. But at this time, the young Marquis and the others arrived at the magic Skyfire domain in an invincible manner. Could it be that the force behind the young Duke is the one who instigated the Battle of Gods? Fang Chen pondered and his face was a little solemn. He felt more and more pressed for time. He thought of the Blood Cavalry Saint, the Abyss of Immortal Corpses, and the Star Knights. With a thought, a token appeared in his palm. It was obtained in the Abyss of Immortal Corpses. The Blood Cavalry Saint had given him many opportunities. He also said that if he could comprehend the 3 origins at the same time, he could activate the token and return to the Abyss of Immortal Corpses to obtain his ultimate inheritance. 3. Fang Chen smiled bitterly. The 5 origins had different powers. It was easy for him to comprehend the metal origin. But it was more difficult to comprehend the fire origin. The 2 origins repelled each other. If he had not refined the fire source ore, he would not have fully comprehended the fire origin. Now, if he wanted to comprehend the 3rd origin quickly, he could only rely on rare treasures or amazing opportunities. In the end, Fang Chen thought of the fusion source fragment. He tried to refine it but to no avail. He could only smile bitterly. Let's save the Sky Sword Peak Master first. After all, this was the lair of the no-demon cult. It was dangerous. When he returned to the Myriad Dao world, he could refine the fusion source fragment in peace. Once he refined it, the 2 origins would fuse. Then, his strength would skyrocket. He might even be comparable to an invincible saint. Whoosh. Fang Chen took a deep breath and put away the fusion source fragment. The next moment, he jumped into the waterfall. For the next few days, Fang Chen hid in the dark and hunted the people of the no-demon cult. The teams sent by the no-demon cult consisted of 5 people led by a 9th level saint. Most of the others were 8th level saints. Of course, there were also some powerful teams with 5 9th level saints. However, after going through so many hardships, Fang Chen could deal with 9th level saints easily. Unless he faced 5 peak 9th level saints at the same time, he had nothing to fear. Of course, even if he was surrounded by 5 peak 9th level saints, he was confident that he could escape unscathed. Just like that, a month passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Fang Chen captured several elders of the no-demon cult. From them, He learned that the Sky Sword Peak Master was still alive and trapped in the Dark Sword Mound. They want the Sky Sword Peak Master to submit. Fang Chen thought to himself. Was the No Demon cult trying to disintegrate the heaven-defying alliance from the inside? He thought of Xu Yang, a disciple of the Dao Palace who was ranked in the top 50 but had the No Demon bloodline. His heart palpitated. How many spies were there in the heaven-defying alliance? Moreover, he also knew that the sect master of the No Demon cult was also trapped in the chaos battlefield. Now, the strongest person in the lair was the guardian dragon, who was stronger than an ordinary invincible saint. However, for some reason, he could not leave the demonic mountain range as if he was suppressing something. In this way, Fang Chen's chances of rescuing the Sky Sword Peak Master increased. The Sky Sword Peak Master's life is not in danger for the time being. I've caused such a big commotion recently, they must have prepared an inescapable trap for me. Fang Chen pondered. I've improved rapidly in the battle with the No Demon cult. It's hard to find such a high-quality sparring partner. Fang Chen smiled leisurely. He had already made his decision. The No Demon cult was notorious and everyone in the Godfall battlefield had the right to punish them. Anyone who joined the No Demon cult was basically a lunatic and deserved to be killed. Why not take this opportunity to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and promote good? In the process, he could also hone himself and break through. The purpose of the Black and White Elders sending him here was to hone himself in blood and fire and break through. Kill until the No Demon cult trembles. Fang Chen was filled with invincible confidence. At this moment, he was like a god of war. No Demon cult, I'm coming. Chapter 3599. With Fang Chen's current battle prowess, he could be considered one of the best in the Godfall battlefield. At least, no one below the invincible Saint realm could kill him. After all, his current cultivation was only a 5th-level Holy Emperor. Even in the most glorious era of the ancient times, there wasn't such a monster like him. This was why the Black and White Elders favored him so much. At this stage, the entire Godfall battlefield was in chaos. With the disappearance of the chaos battlefield and the appearance of the young Marquis and the others, the entire Godfall battlefield was shrouded in a dark aura. If it weren't for the Nether Ghost Lord and the others, the young Marquis and the others would have already swept the world. All the major sects were in imminent danger. Some of the weaker sects had almost all their disciples run away. After all, even if they cared about their sects, it was under the premise that they could survive. Only the top sects were holding on bitterly. Among them were the ancient Ox Demon clan and the Sword Saint Mountain. These two major forces were secretly plotting how to kill Fang Chen and inflict heavy losses on the heaven-defying alliance. Especially the Sword Saint Mountain. All their outstanding disciples had been wiped out, and they had all died at the hands of the same person. This made them very angry. As for the ancient Ox Demon clan, they were originally somewhat afraid of the heaven-defying alliance. However, under the persuasion of the Sword Saint Mountain and the appearance of the young Marquis and the others, they were somewhat shaken. Now, the Sword Saint Mountain Lord and the Ox Demon clan's patriarch had entered the Chaos battlefield and couldn't return. The secret talks between the two sects were handled by their elders. Third Elder Nyo, the Ox Demon clan's punishment elder, was a peak 9th-level saint. When the Ox Demon fell, he was in the radical faction that advocated revenge. Now that the invincible saints of the Ox Demon clan were trapped in the Chaos battlefield, he naturally presided over the matters of the Ox Demon clan. Today, in the ancestral land of the Ox Demon clan, the empty mountain peak was surrounded by green smoke. It was like a fairyland. One could vaguely hear the sound of moo. According to the Ox Demon clan, this was the sound of the great Tao being chanted by their ancestors. If one cultivated in the ancestral land and listened to the sound of the great Tao, there was a chance that one could comprehend the ultimate secret technique and become the supreme existence of the Ox Demon clan. They could even step into the legendary primal Chaos Supreme. The scorching sun hung high in the sky, and the lush willow branches hung down. Two people sat in front of the stone table. Third Elder Nyo picked up the teacup and took a sip. Although this tea is expensive, it tastes a little bitter. On the other side, the Elder of Sword Saint Mountain stroked his beard and smiled, Elder Nyo-san, in troubled times come ambitious heroes. Only in this chaotic situation can we break the monopoly of the heaven-defying alliance. At the same time, he gave an example. For countless years, ever since the heaven-defying alliance had dominated the Godsfall battlefield, over 90% of the resources had been taken by the heaven-defying alliance. One had to know that this was the place where the gods had fallen. There were inheritances and opportunities for cultivation everywhere. There were even remnants of thoughts left behind by some ancient powerhouses. However, as long as the heaven-defying alliance existed, they would never have a share. Right now, the top leaders of the sect are trapped in the chaos battlefield. This is our chance, said the elder of the Sword Saint Mountain. If the two forces worked together, they wouldn't be afraid of the heaven-defying alliance. With the young Marquis and the others holding them back, it would be difficult for the heaven-defying alliance to divert their attention. Third Elder Nyo put down the teacup and stated the conditions of the Ox Demon clan. Our prodigy was killed by Fang Chen of the Dao Palace, so we only have one goal, and that is to capture Fang Chen. If the two forces worked together and defeated the heaven-defying alliance, the Ox Demon clan would only want Fang Chen. The elder of Sword Saint Mountain pondered. Fang Chen might be a monster, but he shouldn't be so important to the Ox Demon clan, right? Could it be that the Ox Demon clan had discovered something? But even if he had a secret treasure, so what? Could it compare to the vast resources of the heaven-defying alliance? When the time came, Sword Saint Mountain would become the strongest sect. They would have endless resources for cultivation. Why would they care about Fang Chen's secrets? The elder of Sword Saint Mountain shook his head and agreed to Third Elder Nyo-san's conditions. Well then, shouldn't we discuss it now? In the demonic mountain range, Fang Chen hid in the darkness and turned into a dark hunter, slaughtering to his heart's content. He didn't feel any guilt for killing the no-demon cult. He only felt good. He could clearly see that the sinful light on the no-demon cult's people was terrifyingly thick. How much sin did they have to commit to have such a terrifying sinful light? You all deserve to die. Fang Chen was furious. Holding the hidden star sword, he rushed into the crowd. Wherever the sword light passed, the no-demon cult's people fell to the ground. In the blink of an eye, a group of people was killed just like that. Clap, clap, buzz. A terrifying dark aura whizzed over. Fang Chen's expression changed drastically. His heartbeat accelerated, and his perfect bloodline instantly erupted, enveloping his entire body. Then, without thinking, he directly performed the heaven-slashing alchemy and slashed out with his sword. The origin of gold ran wildly, raising the power of the heaven-slashing alchemy to a new level. In the void, the golden sword light turned into a golden storm, sweeping through the forest and blasting towards the source of danger. Ha! A soft sound of surprise came from the void. The next moment, a dark hand blocked the golden storm. Rumble. The golden storm was instantly annihilated, and the golden sword light also shattered. The dark hand shook a little, and a wound was torn between the thumb and forefinger. Fang Chen was hit by a powerful impact. He took a few steps back and stabilized his body. His pupils constricted, and he stared straight ahead. In the void crack, behind the dark hand, a black figure walked out. So strong. Fang Chen immediately felt the strength of the other party. Facing this person, he actually felt fear. Invincible saint! Fang Chen exclaimed. He didn't expect to be targeted by an invincible saint when he was hunting the no-demon cult in the demonic mountain range. Protector. He thought of the protector that Moju mentioned. Interesting. The protector spoke. There was no light in his dark eyes, and he looked coldly at Fang Chen. A 5th-level Holy Emperor can burst out the battle strength of a 9th-level saint. In this era, your potential is unmatched. This was the first time the protector met Fang Chen, but he had a high opinion of him. Moreover, if I'm not wrong, the swordsmanship you just used should have touched upon the power of a supreme being. In fact, this was what shocked the protector. Fang Chen was shocked. The heaven-slashing alchemy came from the expert on the altar in the North Sea. According to his guess, that expert was most likely related to the Battle of Deity Fall. Now, the protector said that this swordsmanship had touched upon the power of a supreme being. Fang Chen seemed to have thought of something. You are Fang Chen? Clearly, the protector of the Sans demon cult knew who Fang Chen was, and had recognized him in an instant. Fang Chen was silent, thinking of a way to escape. Chapter 3600. An invincible saint was a super expert who was above a 9th level saint. It was no exaggeration to say that an invincible saint was considered a top existence if the chaotic supremes did not appear. Even in the heaven-defying alliance, there were not many who could compete with them. Such experts had cultivated their physical body, primordial spirit, and origin to the extreme. Their strength was simply unimaginable. Fang Chen's face was gloomy. He did not expect to be targeted by the protector of the no-demon cult. He held the hidden star sword tightly, ready to escape at any time. However, the protector's aura was firmly locked on him. He did not dare to move easily. After all, he was facing an invincible saint. The slightest mistake would cause his soul to scatter. What? Fang Chen shook his head and waved his hand blankly. I don't know what you're talking about. He knew the importance of the Rong Yuan fragment better than anyone else. The no-demon cult had been here for countless years for it. He would definitely not admit it at this moment. Of course, Fang Chen also knew that it made no difference to him whether he admitted it or not. The no-demon cult would not let him go the moment they discovered him. Hee, the protector sneered. He waved his sleeve and a mighty dark power swept across the world, instantly confining the surrounding void. I thought it would be the two old farts from the Dao Palace who would come to save the Skysword Peak Master. I didn't expect it to be you. The protector no longer asked about the Rong Yuan fragment. He stared at Fang Chen with interest and surprise in his eyes. Previously, the higher-ups of the no-demon cult had analyzed and agreed that Fang Chen's potential was too strong. He would definitely become a stumbling block to the revival of the no-demon cult in the future. Therefore, they had issued the order to kill him. However, the protector was still shocked when he saw Fang Chen. They had underestimated Fang Chen's potential. In such a short time, he had stepped into the 5th-level Saint King realm from the 3rd-level Saint King realm. Most importantly, he had the combat strength of a 9th-level saint. One could imagine how terrifying he was. Boom. Fang Chen knew that if he delayed any longer, he would definitely die, so he chose to escape. The blood in his body was fully activated. With a stomp of his foot, a terrifying crack appeared on the ground. Then, he flicked his wrist and the hidden star sword pierced through the air toward the guardian of the Sans demon cult. Heaven-severing alchemy. At this moment, Fang Chen couldn't care less. He directly used his strongest technique. As soon as the sky-severing alchemy was used, the world instantly darkened. Dense sword lights contained sharp sword chi. The origin source in his body spun as the origin source of metal entered the hidden star sword. The origin source of fire condensed into a fire dragon that circled above the hidden star sword, resonating with it from a distance. Kill. The sword slashed out with an imposing aura, causing the sealed space to vibrate. At the sight of this, even the protector of the no-demon cult was somewhat stunned. Clearly, he was shocked by the heaven-severing alchemy technique. An ancient secret technique. Is this the legendary ancient supreme technique? As an invincible sage, he was a living fossil in the ancient times. He had come into contact with many half-step chaotic supremes. Therefore, he could tell at a glance that this secret technique wasn't something that could be created by a half-step chaotic supremacy. Therefore, the answer was self-evident. This was most likely the legendary ancient supreme technique. In the blink of an eye, the dazzling swordlight had already closed in on the protector of the no-demon cult. He woke up from his daze and his eyes emitted a shocking gaze. This is interesting. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that Fang Chen was hiding a great secret. He licked his dry lips as his heart pounded. The ancient supreme technique had appeared once again. He must get it. Break. The aura around the protector of the no-demon cult rippled as dark energy circled around his palm. He instantly struck out with his palm, colliding with the swordlight. The sound of metal colliding was heard. In the next moment, he flipped his palm and grabbed the dazzling swordlight with his bare hands. Crack! Under his powerful strength, The sword light shattered. He quickly formed a seal with his hands and sealed the light that shot out from the shattered swordlight and the complicated runes. Then, he looked into the distance. In the distant horizon, Fang Chen was shuttling through the void at a speed that was invisible to the naked eye. "You want to escape from under my nose?" The protector of the no-demon cult sneered. In a flash, he gave chase. In this demonic mountain range, he was the absolute king. Facing a fifth-level holy emperor, he could suppress him with a single hand. "The ancient supreme technique is mine." The protector of the no-demon cult's eyes turned red. He was going crazy. The ancient supreme technique was too tempting for him. He had to get it no matter what. This was also the reason why he didn't kill Fang Chen. If not, Fang Chen wouldn't have been able to escape. What should I do? Sensing the terrifying aura behind him, Fang Chen's heart skipped a beat. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't be faster than an invincible sage. At the same time, in the huge demonic mountain range, countless no-demon cult members who were searching for Fang Chen's whereabouts stopped in their tracks. They felt the pressure from the void and their hearts trembled. "It's the Protector. Oh my God, the Protector is personally making such a big move. Could the person who killed Mo Ju be an expert from the Dao Palace? So what if he's from the Dao Palace? How dare he come to our no-demon cult's lair? He's courting death. Just wait. It won't be long before the Protector suppresses him." Almost everyone in the no-demon cult thought that the Protector's strength was unparalleled and he was an undefeatable legend. They were completely unaware that the person the Guardian was chasing was the monstrous genius Fang Chen, whose name had recently shaken the world. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Fang Chen was already using all his strength. His speed soared to the maximum. The faster he moved, the more desperate his eyes were. Am I going to die just like that? Fang Chen was unwilling. He couldn't shake off the Protector's pursuit. At this moment, he was mocking himself. Before entering the demonic mountain range, he was ambitious and thought that he could escape unscathed even if he faced an invincible saint. Now, he finally understood what an invincible saint was. Freeze. In front of a mountain stream, the Protector of the Sans demon cult caught up. He raised his hand gently, and the waterfall instantly froze. The surrounding void was also sealed. Fang Chen floated in mid-air, motionless. The supreme ancient technique. The Protector looked at Fang Chen with an extremely greedy gaze, as if the supreme ancient technique was already in his hands. Fang Chen couldn't move. He struggled with all his might, but it was to no avail. Just as Zhongxian was about to detonate his perfect bloodline, the waterfall suddenly exploded, causing the earth to tremble violently. An aura of endless vitality burst forth from the depths of the earth. Everywhere it passed, flowers and trees grew rapidly. This strange scene stunned the Protector of the no-demon cult. He immediately shouted coldly, "Who's there?" As if it had passed through the river of time, the ancient voice sounded leisurely. Chapter 3601. An aura of desolation surged forward and detonated the space as soon as it appeared. Crack. The sound of the void cracking could be heard as the cracks on the ground grew bigger. A terrifying aura was emitted, forming a vast vortex in the void that spun wildly. Break. The Protector of the Sans demon cult who was chasing after Fang Chen was blocked by the vortex. His eyes turned cold as he threw out a punch. However, his fist was sent flying as soon as it came into contact with the vortex. Bang! As the two made contact, the vortex swayed and dissipated. The Protector's body was sent flying and dragged on the ground for a long time before stabilizing himself. His entire body was shrouded in a dark aura as his aura grew increasingly terrifying. His eyes turned scarlet as he stared ahead. An old man in a green robe suddenly appeared from the crack in the ground. At that instant, the world came to a standstill. Fang Chen was stunned as his heart was in turmoil. The voice that crossed the river of time was still echoing in his ears. It was too shocking. Who is he? Fang Chen stared at the old man in green robes. The latter looked like an ordinary person, but Fang Chen could sense an extremely dangerous aura from him. His heart raced as his heart skipped a beat. Did the old man in green robes just say that he's in a deep slumber here? Could he be a super expert that survived the ancient battle of gods? Was he awakened by the aura of the protector? At the thought of this, Fang Chen was secretly delighted as he vaguely saw a glimmer of hope of escaping. The old man in green robes had a skinny figure with a hint of displeasure between his brows. His cheeks were full of wrinkles and he looked very old, as if he would sway when he walked. However, the threat that he posed to the protector was extremely great. "Who are you?" Finally, after a long silence, the void regained its calm. Amidst the dust, the protector of the Sans demon cult suppressed the shock in his heart and asked in a deep voice. He had also participated in the ancient battle of gods. However, he did not have the strength he had now and was not qualified to take part in the core battle. An ancient expert? The protector of the Sans demon cult stared straight at the azure-robed old man. He wanted to determine his identity from his appearance and the presence he radiated. However, in the end, he was disappointed because he could not find such an old man even after searching through all the ancient memories in his mind. However, he was certain that the old man's strength was not inferior to his. At the very least, the combat strength that he had just displayed was already comparable to that of an invincible saint. Of course, he didn't believe that the green-robed elder had stepped into the primal chaos supremacy realm. After all, it was basically impossible for a primal chaos supremacy to appear in this world. "Who am I?" The blue-clothed old man chuckled, as if he were mocking himself. "After so many years, even I have forgotten. I only vaguely remember that someone once called me Monarch Green." "What?" The protector cried out when he heard that. He staggered a few times as his heart trembled. He could not help but take a few steps back as he stared at the old man cautiously. Waves of shock rose in his heart. He didn't dare to believe that the person in front of him was actually the famous Monarch Green. "You are Qing Jun?" Qing Jun, the one who suppressed the 3 major demon clans and made them bow their heads. The protector was speechless. "If there is no second Monarch Green in this world, then you should be talking about me." The green-robed old man squinted his eyes and smiled. The protector was completely confused. The demon cult had been hiding here for the fusion source fragment, but they had never discovered that there was an ancient expert sleeping under the earth. How is that possible? Monarch Green has already died in the battle of the ancient gods. The protector shook his head. Although he couldn't participate in the core battle back then, he had heard of Monarch Green's fame. He suppressed the 3 major demon clans and made them bow their heads. When the battle of the ancient gods broke out, he led the 3 major demon clans and killed the enemies. At that time, the name of Monarch Green resounded throughout the world. However, in the end, Monarch Green still fell. It was said that a super expert who was suspected to have touched the threshold of the supremacy realm secretly attacked and killed Monarch Green, shattering his primordial spirit so that he could not be resurrected. That battle was earth-shattering, and it was said that it almost shattered the sky. Monarch Green's death was witnessed by all the experts. His primordial spirit was shattered and annihilated in the void. Even the supremacy realm of chaos could not be resurrected. Not far away, Fang Chen was stunned. The ancient peak expert Monarch Green was not dead and had awakened here? That's not right. Suddenly, the protector was in a trance, and then he quickly reacted. Rumor has it that Monarch Green has a violent temper and will directly attack if there is a disagreement. He must have been sleeping here to cultivate. I woke him up, and according to his character, he will not talk nonsense with me and will directly kill me. The protector analyzed, and he even told me his name, as if he wanted me to retreat. Thinking of this, the protector's eyes turned and he said coldly, "You are not Monarch Green, or rather, you are just an incarnation." Sure enough, the expression on the green-robed old man's face changed. "Yes, this is indeed an incarnation of mine. If my real body is here, do you think you can still stand here and talk to me?" The green-robed old man no longer concealed. Humph, pretending to be mysterious. "You were at your peak back then, but you could not escape the shackles of fate and died in the battle of God's fall. Now that you are just an incarnation, do you think I will be afraid of you?" The protector sneered, but at the same time he was secretly delighted. He was facing the legendary Monarch Green. Even if it was just an incarnation, if he could kill him, it would be enough to make him famous. An ant like you, when I was at my peak, I could suppress you with one hand. The green-robed old man said indifferently. Boom. The protector took the lead and a terrifying power rushed over from all directions. At the same time, he flipped his palm and crushed a jade talisman. The next moment, the entire demonic strange mountain range was shrouded in a layer of invisible power, exuding an incomparably evil aura. This is the celestial sacrificial array? The green-robed old man frowned. Such an evil array still existed in the world. Ha ha ha, originally this array was prepared for those old farts of the Defying Heaven Alliance, but it was worth it to use it on you, Monarch Green. Previously, when the Protector found that Moju was dead and the fusion source fragment had disappeared, he returned to his lair and began to plan. Now that the celestial sacrificial array had been completed, he had nothing to fear. Even if there was a small accident midway, a mere incarnation of Monarch Green could not stop him. You go first, I will stop him. Monarch Green's voice sounded in Fang Chen's ears. He was stunned for a moment and immediately asked, Senior. Monarch Green seemed to understand what Fang Chen wanted to ask and said bluntly, My life and death brothers are in the Blood God clan. I don't want to see the last hope of the Blood God clan disappear. Fang Chen was relieved. Without saying a word, he leaped and disappeared into the darkness. Humph, the celestial sacrificial array has completely sealed off the demonic strange mountain range. He can't escape. Chapter 3602. Lord Qing's name had shaken the ancient times. However, in this age of chaos, almost no one knew him. His reputation no longer existed. The no-demon cult protector opened his arms, his black robe fluttering, and a terrifying dark aura swept across the world. The heavens sacrificial array had been completely completed, and the demonic mountain range was completely sealed. Originally, this forbidden array was prepared for the experts of the Defying Heaven Alliance, but the arrival of Fang Chen and the appearance of Lord Qing forced the Protector to activate the array in advance. The Celestial Sacrificial Array, as its name suggested, was an extremely evil array. In ancient times, this type of array was explicitly forbidden. Its core operating principle was to use the blood and qi of the world's living beings as the main source, and the corpses as the supplement, to absorb the darkest aura between heaven and earth. The more this was the case, the more powerful it would be. Even an invincible saint would be in danger if they were trapped in the heavens sacrificial array. It could be said that in the entire Godfall battlefield, unless the leader of the Defying Heaven Alliance intervened, no one could resist it, not even Lord Qing. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the blink of an eye, the heavens sacrificial array had been completely activated. The dark aura swept through every corner, and the storm-like power struck Lord Qing's body. The latter's body was slightly thin, as if he would fall to the ground at any time. However, there was a touch of determination on Lord Qing's withered face. His pupils were also emitting a lustful light. After sleeping for countless years, it seems that the world has forgotten me. Lord Qing said coldly. Even though it was just a clone, it was not something that ordinary people could compare to. An invincible saint of the age of chaos? Lord Qing sneered when he saw the no-demon cult protector coming at him. The definition of an invincible saint was different in different eras. If the definition was different, then there would naturally be a gap in strength. Moreover, how could the age of chaos be compared to the ancient times? It was no exaggeration to say that an invincible saint of the ancient times was comparable to a half-step chaotic supremacy of this era. One could imagine how big the gap was. Boom. Lord Qing stomped his foot, and the ground cracked. Above his head, a green light emerged, and then quickly condensed into a handprint. Under his control, the handprint rushed towards the no-demon cult protector as fast as lightning. Hiss hiss hiss. The power of the all-heavens sacrificial formation filled the air. The protector of the Sans demon cult was fearful of Lord Qing from the bottom of his heart. Therefore, he used a thunderous method to suppress Lord Qing the moment he attacked. He manipulated the power of the celestial sacrificial matrix and constantly squeezed Qing Jun, forcing him to divert his attention to resist. At the same time, he launched his strongest attack at the handprint condensed by Qing Jun. Boom. When the two collided, a deafening explosion erupted. Terrifying energy rippled out. Fang Chen, who had already fled far away, was also sent flying by this force. With a bang, he crashed into a mountain and directly smashed into it. Poochie. Climbing up from the rubble, Fang Chen cut a sorry figure. His qi and blood were boiling, and his internal organs were trembling. Too strong. Is this a showdown between peak experts? The celestial sacrificial array was enough to shock Fang Chen, who had extraordinary attainments in the Tao of formations. Unexpectedly, the collision between Qing Jun and the protector of the no-demon cult was even more breathtaking. Fang Chen could imagine that if he were to take this blow from the protector of the no-demon cult, even if he did not die, he would be seriously injured. He quickly adjusted his breathing, and then rushed out of the broken mountain. He glanced at the battle in the distance and continued to flee, even though he knew very well that once the All-Heavens sacrificial array was set up, it was almost impossible to break through. However, if he stayed here, he would undoubtedly die. It was better to fight to the death and see if he could create a miracle in a hopeless situation. The trembling sound behind him grew louder and louder. Fang Chen knew that Qing Jun had temporarily blocked the protector of the no-demon cult. He sighed. Qing Jun had survived the battle of the ancient gods. Now, with just a clone, he was able to resist the protector of the no-demon cult who was at the level of an invincible saint. From this, one could imagine how terrifying Qing Jun was at his peak. Disciples of the no-demon cult, listen to my order. Kill Fang Chen with all your strength. A cold voice reverberated over the demonic strange mountains. Fang Chen was stunned. Immediately, a sense of crisis soared. He almost did not think about it and directly fled into the void. Qing Jun's clone had blocked the no-demon cult's protector, but with the All-Heavens sacrificial array blocking him, he could not escape the demonic strange mountains. In other words, he would face endless encirclement. Most of them were ninth-order saints. Whoosh! Fang Chen knew that the most severe test had arrived. Qing Jun could not free himself and could only rely on himself. Kill. Cake. Fang Chen, you can't escape. The no-demon cult people fell into a frenzy. They had been searching for the person who killed Mo Ju, but it turned out to be a disciple of the Tao Palace. They were furious. A large group of people spread out and searched inch by inch. In the dense forest, towering trees stood in great numbers. Fang Chen hid in one of the trees. Fortunately, Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The protector of the no-demon cult was blocked by Qing Jun, and even the All-Heavens sacrificial array had a certain stagnation. The evil power was weakened a lot, and the impact on him was greatly reduced. In this way, he could concentrate on dealing with the others. Swoosh, swoosh. In the blink of an eye, someone found him. A mid-ninth order saint. The strongest person in this team was a mid-ninth order saint, and the other four were early-stage ninth order saints. With a thought, Fang Chen made his decision. What he needed to do now was to end the battle quickly. Otherwise, if he delayed, he would be surrounded, and that would be troublesome. Kill. He used a secret technique and hid in the void. In an instant, he appeared behind the leader. Heaven-severing alchemy. He used his strongest attack as soon as he attacked. A dazzling sword light appeared out of thin air, and before the leader could react, it pierced through his head. Damn it! The leader fell to the ground. Only then did the other four people react. Unfortunately, it was too late. Not long after, Fang Chen disappeared, leaving behind 5 corpses. There's movement over there. Soon, the movement here attracted the attention of the other teams. When they found the traces of battle, they were furious. You can't escape. Everyone searched for Fang Chen according to the clues left in the void. In the center of the All-Heavens sacrificial array, Qing Jun stood with his hands behind his back. There was a smile on his shriveled face. The protector of the no-demon cult was furious. Qing Jun said leisurely, I'll say it again. Let this little brother go, and I won't pester you anymore. Humph, dream on. The protector of the no-demon cult said coldly, you can't even protect yourself, and you still dare to meddle in other people's business? Qing Jun shook his head, and the look in his eyes changed. The demonic mountain range is much more dangerous than you think. If you continue to fight here, the consequences will be unimaginable. After the battle back then, Qing Jun chose to sleep here for a reason. This dangerous place involved the secret of reincarnation. Not long ago, Fang Chen also saw the protector of the reincarnation road and obtained the standard reincarnation blade.